we are live. Within the dark reaches of the internet, honestly, you'd have to look a little deeper. Right at the bottom of the drawer, sticking to the wood, is this tiny little podcast. You can't really get that out with bleach. It's stuck there at the bottom. It's pretty bad. Now, if you lean closer, just put your ears close enough, you hear a bunch of fur faggots talking about video games. Yeah, I get it. You don't want to be here, but we locked the doors. So take a seat right there. Actually, you know what? Stay in. Otherwise, we won't be able to put it in. Don't worry. We'll provide plenty of lubrication. Look at the Gremcast. How's everybody doing?
Doing fine here. Now, did you know that lube is for amateurs, right?
Huh? What?
It's for amateurs, right? Everyone's dry.
Oh, we're going in dry then, huh?
I'll never live that down. I was on, I forget whose stream it was once, but it was my first drunk stream. I think it was a layman, yeah. And for some reason, the line came out of my mouth. I don't remember the context. Lubricant is easy modo.
What?
Yes. And ever since then, has come up every single time the topic has been even the slightest bit relevant.
Oh God. What is harder than? Oh wait. Oh, okay. I was gonna ask a stupid question that I already know the answer to. All right. So how is everyone doing? Let's start with Kota. Kota, how are you doing?
How am I doing? Well, my week has been a little bit special, a little bit drama.
Would you say it was autistic?
No.
Well, you said special, so.
It's a little bit of serious drama, really.
That's what you get from this podcast. Ableism.
Yeah.
Complimentary.
It was the first week my dad came back to work after his heart attack, and on Thursday rather, he finally got a call back from his friend that he's been trying to get a hold of, and he found out that his friend had passed away.
Oh man, that sucks.
And he broke down from it and couldn't continue working since. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay! I just ruined everyone's day.
Yes, thank you. I don't mean to laugh, but damn.
Yeah.
Not here. QuQu. What you been up to? Please tell me no one died around you too.
No. I've been playing Dungeons & Dreadmore in the background the whole time, and I just opened the door to a monster zoo, and I'm trying to work out if I'm going to even, remotely survive this.
That has been sitting on my Steam for the longest, and I've never, installed it or anything.
So, it's the most core roguelike that I've really seen. It really feels like the old Rogue.
I think I know someone who worked on the sprites on it.
Yeah, it's really quite well done. It's really difficult though. I have had many characters tonight because I would roll random character classes, and I kept getting really bad combinations.
Oh God.
So yeah, I finally have a character that might survive. I don't think it really will survive though, because I'm currently running away as fast as I can while invisible.
I have a weird relationship with roguelikes. It's not like I never played any before. It's more like I haven't played enough. I don't even know if the half the games I played before are roguelikes, because it's such a broad spectrum of games within it.
Yeah, well, this one is actually like a roguelike, not one of the roguelike lights or roguelike likes. as the term has been coined. It's very much a tile-based dungeon explorer where you take your turn, the monsters take their turn, and random loot. Lots of random loot. So,
roguelikes, they lend pretty well to a plethora of interesting gameplay styles. I've noticed that, at least from what I could summarize from what they are, they lend really well. That kind of game lends really well to any type of genre. Probably not fighting games. I don't even know if anything like that existed.
yeah, I don't know. That might not work.
I don't
so
even
well.
think that'd be enjoyable.
Now, I used to have this
character beating up every person else's character, and when they die, you lose the character and have to start from level 1.
Yeah.
It actually takes away your real skills.
Yeah.
You can no longer. It makes you forget all the combos and everything.
I would like to see
them.
roguelites that were based off of that were inspired by platformers like Mario.
They actually had a side-scrolling roguelike. Rogue Legacy was.
Oh yeah, I played that. That was pretty fun.
So when I think of roguelike, I tend to be a bit too much of a purist because I used to have this bizarre device called what was it called? It was a Nokia N810. It was a tablet before tablets were cool, and they basically did everything wrong. But I love the thing. Like, these days a tablet is a huge thing with a big old touch screen and capacitive multi-touch. Well, this was like a 5-inch screen, resistive, single-touch, stylus-based device.
Oh god, that sounds cheap.
With a slide-out keyboard. It was really nice, though. It was actually a little Linux computer, basically. And I'm bringing that up. Trust me, it's actually relevant. I will make it relevant somehow. Because I had a copy of NetHack on it, which was the first roguelike I ever played. And that was just the game that I would play whenever I was bored or had time to kill. So, when I think of roguelike, I tend to be a bit of a purist. I tend to think of, like, NetHack or Dungeons of Dreadmore or something like that.
Classic ones.
Yeah.
I was a filthy console peasant during that time, so I wouldn't be able to have the same enthusiasm you would have for those kinds of games. To me, it just looked like geeky, nerdy, old computer games all my white friends talk about.
You know? Everyone's introduction to PC gaming for most of my friends have been like Doom and such.
Mm-hmm.
When I first played Doom, it was on the PlayStation.
The first time I played Doom was on the Nintendo 64.
That was the interesting thing is Doom for the N64 was an entirely new level pack. They did not just do the usual thing of try to make all the levels fit on whichever console it was.
They just made an entirely new game out of it.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of somewhat sought after because of that. Because unlike like Doom for some other platforms that no one would ever play given the choice, because they had to cut down a few things in order to even make it run, people will seek out Doom 64 because it is in fact a new game.
Huh. I guess I should have kept it. Should have kept the copy there. Huh. At the time, I didn't think anything of it because GoldenEye was like my first-person shooter. That was my first. I mean, nothing could be better than GoldenEye at the time. So.
Oh yeah. I
didn't really give two shits about Doom. I just had it, and I guess I used to cheat on it a lot. That was that, and Duke Nukem was on Nintendo 64, and I used to cheat on that a lot. I was such a huge cheater when I was a child. But yeah.
I'm guessing you had the Game Shark?
Yes.
Yeah, the
filthy cheater.
No, that was a really cool back then because you could do all sorts of things that were removed.
Yeah.
Like line mode in GoldenEye was a big one. They had a cheat code that made everything look like it was a pencil drawing that they had taken out of the game because it was kind of glitchy, and unplayable. But you could actually use a Game Shark to bring it back.
I love the Game Shark. I guess that's why now I kind of wish I had a stronger computer so I can play more mods and stuff. Because I kind of liked being able to enhance a game with Game Shark cheats and stuff and all that. I used to fuck around.
Or
It was really fun.
unlock those hidden things that was hidden away in the code.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye had tons of those. Have you heard of the website TCRF, the cutting room floor?
Yes. I spent way too many hours on that site, but I don't think I've looked at GoldenEye's section on it.
Oh, it's huge. It's actually separated by level. That's how huge it is.
Oh wow.
Because Rare was very much making it up as they went along with that game. They originally thought it was going to be a track shooter, but they changed their mind. Near the end of development and turned it into a...
GoldenEye, the game, is more popular than a film.
Yes, it is.
And much more interesting than the film, too.
Yeah.
The film itself is kind of like, it's not a good movie. To me, it isn't. I guess...
It's the obligatory James Bond film featuring...
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, yeah.
I didn't like any of the films Pierce Brosnan was in, to be honest. And that was my first introduction to Bond. I was just like, Daniel Craig was the guy that made me interested at all in that franchise.
Well, never fear. With the Game Shark, you could actually change your face to the prior Bonds.
Wait, really?
Yes, they found that, I forget if it was 4 or something, 4 of the prior Bonds faces were in the game. They just weren't able to license the likeness. So you can't actually use them unless you use a cheating device.
That sounds awesome.
Yes,
I could be Sean Connery Bond.
Yep.
It'd be like seconds, not stirred. Or like Alan Moore. What is that his name? Yeah, the other guy. The other cool guy that was like really popular as a Bond. It could be him too. That sounds rad. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm on the site. That's hilarious. They didn't have them. I'm shocked they didn't put them in the multiplayer.
Yeah, they were going to, but they couldn't because of the licensing issues. Because using people's likenesses without permission was verboten.
A big no-no.
Yeah, they had Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Timothy Dalton.
That would have been awesome. And then my complaint was that my friend would play Odd Job, and Odd Job is really short, so it's very hard to hit. And he will always play Odd Job just so he could screw us over.
Yeah, have you ever played GoldenEye Source?
No, I haven't.
It's worth playing. There's not many. There's like one single server left that anyone actually goes on anymore, but it usually gets enough people to actually play it.
So they rebuild GoldenEye
the
in
multiplayer
the
only.
basically.
But yes, they rebuilt the multiplayer for GoldenEye in the Source engine, and it has all of the guns, it has all of the levels, and then some. Because they added more levels, and some people ported over levels from Perfect Dark and things like that. So it has levels and then some. It has fewer characters, unfortunately. But one of the things that they did is they made Odd Job tall, or I should say, as tall as everyone else.
God, he was the cheapest piece of crap in there.
Yep.
I've never actually played the game, so I wouldn't know.
The thing is that in those days you had 2 control schemes that you could really use that actually worked. You had one that was like your joystick was forward, back, left, and right, and left and right instead of strafing would actually turn you left and right, because the N64 only had one axis.
Yeah.
looking up and down, you had to press this button. I believe it was right shoulder, and that
Yeah.
would put you in aim mode where you could move your cursor all over the screen. And that was good if you were doing like a stealth run, which you had to do in some levels actually. You could aim straight for the head and just squeeze off a single shot from your gun, and that was quieter than just unleashing like an entire clip's worth. And then you'd be able not set off the alarm and cause chaos and things like that.
So they recreated it in Source.
Yes. The reason why everyone hated Oddjob is because for some reason, and it's kind of funny because in the movie he's not absurdly short. But they made him absurdly short in the game. So everyone else, you could, if you ran into them in a tight spot, you would generally pointing straight at the center of their body, and you could just pull the trigger without entering aim mode. You would want to enter aim mode if you wanted to try and squeeze off a headshot, but you didn't need to. With Oddjob,
he was shorter.
He was shorter, and it just threw everything off. Yeah. Yeah, the reason why I like GoldenEye Source is because you know how you'd go back and you view games like through nostalgia tinted glasses. I actually
these games are so much better back in the day.
Yeah, I've actually fired up GoldenEye because I got GoldenEye X, which is a hacked. Someone hacked the Perfect Dark ROM to put the GoldenEye multiplayer inside it. All the GoldenEye weapons and levels and things like that. So you could use all the Perfect Dark features like the bots and things like that in GoldenEye. Anyway, I fired that up, and I had forgotten how bad the controls were, how choppy the frame rate was, and how blurry it was. It almost made me want to puke. And that's on Perfect Dark, which has the high-res mode, which is higher resolution than GoldenEye. Anyway, the reason why I like GoldenEye Source so much is because it is like what I remember GoldenEye being. Like, it through all my nostalgia glasses and everything like that, that is what I remember it being. So I can preserve my memories and not have them shattered by going back and playing the slightly or outdated mess that is GoldenEye now.
I want to ask if it has like local multiplayer or something, because I kind of feel like I will want to get it with friends that have missed GoldenEye.
Yeah, it doesn't have split screen. It does have LAN, so you can LAN mode it if you want.
So I do have a random question. Whatever happened to Game Shark and such?
It stopped. They stopped having a method by which they could implement it. Basically, what a Game Shark was, I can actually get into the technical nitty-gritty of it.
Oh yes, please do. The podcast loves this shit.
Yeah, so the Game Sharks and Game Genies basically did two things. The physical implementation was it was a cartridge that would sit between your actual cartridge and the console. So you would take your N64 or whatever your console was, you'd slot your Game Shark, Game Genie, whatever device it was into that, and then you'd put the actual cartridge on top. And this allowed two types of cheats to be entered. Basically, it would allow the obvious one, which is anytime the console would read from an address in on the ROM. So basically, the cartridge is just a big storage device, right? And it could say, "Give me the byte at this position on the cartridge," and it will come back for you.
I actually know a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's probably more than a byte. I don't know what block it would read it in. But anyway, basically that's what it was. You'd say, "Give me this byte," it would come back. The Game Shark would let you override that. So instead of returning for any byte on the cartridge, instead of actually returning the cartridge contents, it would return some other number or set of numbers. Some versions of the Game Shark, like the one for the NES, and I imagine later ones as well, would also allow you to override addresses in memory as well. So you would try and do a read from a memory address from the RAM, and it would override that and throw something else back. I don't know how they did that, but it was really cool. And that's how you were able to do things like give yourself infinite lives, because what it would do is it would say, "Hey, go give me the contents of the life counter," and then it would just return a constant number, like 5. So you'd always have 5 lives, no matter how many times you died. So that's basically how it worked, and that's why they don't have them anymore, is because there is no such thing as a cartridge slot anymore. Some consoles, like the PlayStation 2, had a Game Shark that would operate through the memory card slot, and that would either be hacks or just save files with extra stuff on them. The latter is pretty lame, but the PS2, for instance, had a lot of security vulnerabilities that you could access through the memory card slot. So you could do some pretty clever stuff with that.
I noticed that a lot of the PS2 Game Sharks had pre-made codes on them or something like that, because I don't know if you could make your own or try to. It was weird.
Yep.
It was a very, very weird the way they used it, the way Game Shark worked on the PS1 especially.
The PS1 and PS2.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, like, because I was so used to the Nintendo 64 Game Shark, so, like...
Yeah, I know, like, the action replay for the PlayStation 2 would actually be like a boot disc. You'd boot it up, and then it would spin it down, you'd open the console and swap in your actual game.
Yeah, I had that. That's what I had.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And now you just reminded me of this disc thing that some people made that'll allow you to, okay, you put this disc in first, and this little plastic thing that came with it.
Boot magic.
It'll let you play your bootleg games on your PlayStation 1.
And import games too. Yeah. How that actually works is hilarious. I know the early boot magics were what they did is they would actually get a real PlayStation 2 game or PlayStation game, I forget, and they would cut the physical disc around the center spindle to get the real boot sector of it, and then they would put their disc around that.
Huh.
That is... Wow, that's doing
Yes.
It's doing entirely too much. I'm used to like the Dreamcast, or could just oh my god, the Dreamcast was so they I don't know what Sega did not expect the Dreamcast to be so open to piracy.
Well, Sega had this brilliant form of copy protection. Sega's form of copy protection was, CDR drives are way too expensive and no one will be able to afford one for their home. That was their copy protection.
Yes.
That didn't last very long.
That didn't work out pretty well, because you can pretty much just download a game onto a CD-ROM and play it.
Yep.
Now you can just buy those CDs for $1 at the dollar store and then burn your games on it.
It's actually kind of funny.
There's so many awesome games I played pirated just because of that.
Yeah, they still make games for the Dreamcast because of that.
This is now the Piracy Cast.
No, I mean, they still make commercial Dreamcast games because of how easy it is to get games onto it.
Oh yeah, I've heard about like they make
some indie
companies
games.
are still making like indie games and stuff for the Dreamcast and such.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. You know how they always say GG has third-party trolls?
Yeah.
There's this one third-party troll named Max Sand. I've chatted with him before. His Dreamcast is his main system, and he still gets excited every time there's a new game coming out for it. He's been raving about one. I forget what name it is.
I need to give myself.
He's been looking forward to.
Dreamcast. I mean, I've been trying to get myself an emulation machine, something like that, something to where I can just cause most of my gaming history comes from like emulation, because I didn't own certain consoles or something like that. I kind of want to go back. Yeah, I've kind of wanted to go back to playing those games and stuff. My emulation system for the longest was the Wii, but the Wii couldn't play certain kinds of games because it's a shit console. But but I want to get an emulation machine that's at least close enough to having a computer, but not having a computer, where I can just put it on my big television and just like, when I feel like playing, I don't know, Chrono Trigger or fucking uh, anything, I can just go play on the emulation machine.
So
Because all those games are pretty much dying out. You can't find them anywhere. And if you want to get the actual games, you're gonna have to spend a boatload of cash for them.
someone did something absolutely insane. I have that a couple of N64 flash carts that I actually have used for my own development purposes.
Legally.
Development purposes.
Yes.
Legally.
Yes, I actually used libdragon instead of libultra, which is the open source library that doesn't require you to pirate Nintendo's dev kit. Anyway, someone did something really clever with it. Someone actually has crafted an N64 ROM that is an NES emulator.
Oh.
Huh.
And it doesn't work for many games, but for the ones it does, it's just mind-blowing. It's like, I'm playing Mega Man 2 on my N64. What the heck? I don't know how they did that, but that's really impressive.
I'm sure the feds are onto us. They don't give a shit. But, I tried. I was hoping because if y'all didn't know, there was an exploit in the 3DS that allows you to kind of install homebrew on it or something like that. It was the same with the Wii, but it was through the YouTube thing. I don't know if Nintendo patched it. By this time, Nintendo probably patched it, so you can't get into it. But I was hoping, I was so excited for that at the time, because I was like, awesome! Now I can put a Super Nintendo on here, emulator, and to put a Sega Genesis emulator and be happy. Nintendo, let me say right now, Nintendo consoles are not worth jailbreaking.
Well,
they're not.
Nintendo actually really screwed up with the Wii because they kept having these exploits that they would patch, right?
Yeah.
So generally the way they would do it is someone would find some of the early ones where someone found a buffer overflow in the Wii menu. So basically what a buffer overflow is I'm going to try and explain it in as basic terms as possible. Memory in a computer is laid out like a series of boxes, right?
Yep.
And some of the boxes store data, like your character's name or something like that, and some of the boxes store code. And it'll go to the box and say, hey, what do I do next? It'll get the contents of the box and execute it as an instruction and so forth. Well, they found out like things like the save file in what was the first Zelda game that came out for the Wii and for GameCube too? Twilight Princess.
The one with Twilight Princess.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could put a name for your horse in the save file that exceeded the length of the field that you were supposed to use for your horse name, and it would actually start overwriting parts of the code that were meant to be executed. So that then you could put something clever in the horse name in your save file, and it would start executing like it was code, and that was one of the earliest ways to jailbreak the system, was to do that. Every single time that happened, Nintendo would patch it in a very clever way, and that is the only way to get save files onto your Wii was you put in an SD card and copy the save file over. Well, they made a function in the copy to check if it was a bad save file, and then would just not let you do it anymore.
Oh, I jailbroke my Wii using Smash Brothers.
Yes, and that was where Nintendo screwed up royally. Is they finally made a game that they could not patch. Because what they did is they released Smash Brothers, and they sent out all these copies to all these retailers, and instead of reading things off of the console memory, which is what every single game prior to that had done, they allowed you to read directly off the SD card from the game. And sure enough, Smash Brothers had a buffer overflow exploit in it, so they kind of screwed the pooch on that one. There's no way to patch that.
That was perfect. That was fantastic. Oh man. I think what I used my Wii for was when I jailbroke it, because Nintendo wasn't fast enough. No, but they couldn't catch me. No, but I jailbroke it for Game Boy Advance emulator on there, and I mainly use it to watch movies.
Yeah.
Ended up mainly using it to watch movies because, oh man, I was so pissed off knowing that the Neo Geo emulator was just so like, my main drive behind that was so that I could play like Garou Mark of the Wolves on the Wii, and that didn't work out very well. And I wanted to play Mischief Makers too, and Mischief
That
Makers
doesn't work at all.
played poorly.
Mischief Makers doesn't emulate on anything very well. There is like a single video plugin that exists that actually gets the texturing right because Treasure decided to do some funky hack for the visuals.
Why aren't the good games ready to work on my systems? I don't understand, man. I want to be able to play Mission Makers on my 3DS. God damn it. a man can't hunt for a Nintendo 64 and buy the cartridge. I'm pretty sure it's hundreds of bucks on eBay right now.
Yes.
It's not even on Wii U. That's the fucked up part. I don't even think Mission Makers is on Virtual Console.
No, it's one of the third-party games. It was made by Treasure. So
Mission Makers.
Yeah.
Mischief Makers. Oh, it's only $15. I swear, if I don't even own a Nintendo 64, but I would get that just to get Mischief Makers, and that'd be the only game I have on there.
Oh, Mr.
I've actually been looking on eBay to see if I can get a. I would require so much hardware. I don't know if it's worth it, but the N64 actually had proper RGB out on it. They just they used it for the SCART output in Europe, SCART, SCART, whatever the heck you pronounce that as. But in the U.S., they just gave it its little composite output instead, and kind of dummied out the RGB output on the circuit board. You can actually find on eBay every once in a while someone who broke out the RGB and will let you do full RGB on your N64. And I'm so tempted to get that. See if I can find one, just to get the most beautiful N64 output possible that I can get.
Well,
hey, Kota, you're someone's senpai?
Apparently I am now. Hi, Mishka.
That's what they come here for. They don't come over here for QQ's Tech Talk or my ramblings or Chris's Alton's drunken ramblings. They come over here for Kota. This is what this cast is about.
It's the Kota cast.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I do believe we spent a good chunk of the first beginning of this podcast talking about tech stuff and not about gaming news. And I would say that people got bored with that, but that's what they want. That's what they desire. The people need it. Nah. Let's talk about gaming news. Unless anybody got anything else to talk about. Yeah.
I'll let you know.
All right. Kota, where are you?
Kota,
quit running off.
Well, we can keep talking tech until Kota gets back.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No trouble. I was just going to bring up about how the Wii could actually play DVDs.
Oh, yes.
Hardware-wise. I always thought that was funny. Nintendo did not want to have to pay the license fees to play DVDs. So they built a console that was fully capable of playing it hardware-wise, and just didn't put any software on it that would let you do it.
I know all about that. Yes. That blew my mind when I first jailbroke it and then like found out there was an app that let you play. I was like, okay. I was like, so I'm so annoyed now because
you then play DVDs as well, or no?
The what?
I don't even know what the Wii U can do.
I don't know.
I do know it has a mountain amount of RAM, so I feel like if someone were to like exploit or jailbreak it, they would have a pretty good system on their hands. I mean, okay. But I said that about like the 3DS and jailbreaking the 3. It might be that they don't have all the things in order. From what I know is that it needs a flash cart to really be an actual system.
Yeah, probably.
Which costs like $100.
It has been a while since we started, so shall we start heading more towards the news section?
Yeah, let's talk about gaming news. Let's talk about gaming news. Okay. Kota, you're good at doing this, so.
Well, yes, I am. I mean, like, I did make the list.
It's your job!
Well, the first bit, those who remember not too long ago, the PlayStation Store put The Misadventures of Trombone on the PlayStation Classic section. Well, Capcom has now released the Mega Man Legends as well. Was released, it's going to be released on the 29th for the PS3 and the PS Vita. So, you think we're ever going to get that Mega Man Legends 3?
Mega Man Legends is a pretty looking game that has some interesting ideas, but has not aged too well. It's more in the gameplay compartment, because it seems like Mega Man Legends is a very pretty game for a PlayStation 1 game. Even now, when you look at it, it's not a game
not
that
too
goes.
bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But like gameplay wise, it's kind of dated. It's a lot of corridors, a lot of tunnels and such. It's I was hoping that Red Ash or Mega Man Legends 3 would try to get out of that sort of type of gameplay. But as you can see from Red Ash's weird, either they were doing that as a homage to Mega Man Legends, or that was an actual area in the game. I don't even know what Red Ash's deal was. It seemed like they were really trying to like recreate Mega Man Legends in a more next gen space, but I feel like Mega Man Legends, for the most part, Mega Man Legends 3 was perfect for Game Boy. Not Game Boy. The 3DS. Mega Man Legends was perfect for the 3DS because it has a lot of. It's a very and it's a very insular game series. And that's why, and I think that's why it kind of worked as a Mega Man game a little bit. Because when you compare it to a lot of the other 3D attempts at Mega Man
X7.
Yeah. When you compare it to that, Mega Man Legends is a pretty superior game. You could argue if it's really a Mega Man game or not, but I do know that it would have worked great on a handheld console. And if Kaji Kaito Hirobuka, if KJ Inafune, if Son Goku were to make
Okay, just go on.
If we're to make Mega Man Legends 3 onto the 3DS, and he was doing, and if you can tell from Red Ash that he was kind of using roughly the same engine and the same ideals of Mega Man Legends, it would have worked great on a handheld. I'm not sure a game like Red Ash would have worked great on like on the PS4, unless he was going for a more indie vibe. Keiji Inafune doesn't strike me as an indie developer. So,
by the way, what did you think of when they said that the engine that they used for the alpha for Red Ash wasn't even going to be the one that they will be using when they develop the game after the Kickstarter?
What was the point of releasing an alpha?
Hype.
Yeah, the hype. I mean, hell, actually, they didn't even make those models. They only made one model, and it was a barely functioning Red Ash character, the main hero.
That's as if Nintendo placed Mario in the engine to just placed it in the fucking. It's as if
the Sonic Adventure engine.
Yes. It's as if Nintendo placed a Mario into the Sonic Adventure engine as a beta before they released Mario 64. That does not tell you what the game is going to play like. That's nothing. That's a nothing thing. Why even release a beta in the first place?
Well, alpha rather, but still.
Alpha, yes. Why?
Hype. That's all it was. It was to lay down the rails so that the hype train could go along.
KJ
And
Inafune
The
is the
engine in
worst.
the hype train wasn't the same as the one that would be in the final railway. It doesn't. Yeah.
He is the worst businessman ever, or he's the greatest businessman ever. I don't even know what a businessman is like.
The Kickstarter did fail, so there's that.
Yeah. I actually find it interesting with regards to Mega Man Legends, though, because, like you said, the visuals hold up because they picked a consistent aesthetic and it would still look good. Like, if they were to do a retexturing job on it, it would still look grand to this day. It's the gameplay that's a bit dated. I find that interesting as a contrast to one of the games that I grew up with, Perfect Dark, which recently had the Xbox Live Arcade re-release and then the re-release on the...
Perfect Dark Zero?
No, what was that thing that they came out with recently? The Xbox One disc that had all the old Rare games on it.
The Rare Replay?
Yeah. The thing with Perfect Dark is, what dates it is how it looks. How it plays is with a few control tweaks and things like that. It works with twin stick controls, and since they fixed the incredibly terrible frame rate, it actually plays pretty decent. It feels not as dated as most first-person shooters from the era would be. I find it interesting that with Mega Man Legends, it's the exact opposite. The visuals are fine, but the gameplay feels dated now.
Yeah. So, move on to the next thing. From Capcom to Konami. Everyone's favorite company now. They are squishing the rumor that they're not doing AAA games anymore. They're doing AAA games.
Alright, well, I kind of figured it was too absurd of a idea. I mean, if Konami weren't making AAA games anymore, they hate money. And we all know that Konami kind of likes money, but they make terrible decisions. And not producing AAA games would have been a really stupid decision, like too stupid for Konami. So,
yeah, well, with regards to their things like their gambling machines of various varieties, you can't milk franchises indefinitely if you're not releasing new things in that franchise. They lose their luster after a while. So it's not, you can't just completely exit making those franchises anymore and just milk them to death. That's what you do if you're a company that is spiraling on its way out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're going to, even if you're changing your plans that you're going to get most of your profit from making gambling machines, you still need some kind of core to go behind that in order to make it so that your IP doesn't go stale.
More pachinko machines.
And also, another thing about Konami is they will not be doing any DLC to continue the story.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go off the grid real quick because we're talking about pachinko machines. Let's talk about, for a moment, let's talk about SNK Playmore. Let's talk about the King of Fighters 14. Let's talk about the fact that the King of Fighters pachinko machine looks 1,000 times better than King of Fighters 14. Has either one of you seen the trailer to King of Fighters 14?
No.
No.
Do you have any knowledge about what is currently been happening with SNK Playmore?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna have to do my googling so I can make sure I got my information right because the it's very important on a podcast to have very important information. I mean, very accurate information. Um, SNK Playmore was acquired by Chinese investors. SNK Playmore,
Oh.
yes, SNK Playmore, if for all of you out there who do not know, is the company responsible for such beloved or more so cult classic franchises. Not sure if their franchises were as popular to be considered beloved, but they were beloved enough. Fatal
Metal
Fury,
Slug.
Metal Slug, The Art of Fighting, Samurai Showdown, the King of Fighters, a franchise they have milked the most, and they made a lowly touching witches game on the DS. That happened,
Cricket.
but am I cutting out?
No,
Okay.
that was a genuine stunned silence.
Yes. So they were acquired by Chinese investors because if you already know, SNK hasn't been uh they haven't been doing very good. First, their company went into bankruptcy, which is why they're called SNK Playmore now. And now they sold their company to Chinese investors. And I'm hoping either one of you look this up, but look up the trailer to King of Fighters 14 and tell me that's a PS4 game or not. Because to me, it looks like a PS2 game that's been re-released on the PS3.
What the heck? What?
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen it? You seen it looking at the trailer? Yeah, yeah. This is a PS4 game. This is a PlayStation 4 game. Um, isn't King of Fighters like one of the largest franchise fighting game franchises? Uh, I'm pretty sure King of Fighters 13 was a. I
This
don't know
looks
how
like
to.
Virtua Fighter for the Dreamcast.
Yes, yes. Uh, and you know, I would be able to excuse it if it was any other company making any other game. If this was Bloody War, all right. Let's say this was Bloody War, all right, and that would I would accept that. I would be like, oh well, they haven't made games in a while, so maybe their game wouldn't turn out like that. But this looks worse than King of Fighters 13, and it's made by a company that's supposed to be the rival of Capcom as far as fighting games go.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
This game that, you know, 13 was still sprites, and this game doesn't. It's just supposed to be models.
Yeah, it's supposed to be character models. They're using 3D models. It looks like their Maximum Impact series.
Yeah, it looks heavily outdated.
I feel like anytime a company gets sold to a Chinese developer, their games are going to automatically be shits.
You mean like what the one?
Red Ash.
Yeah, that one
Yes.
Chinese company that wants to publish it.
And if you look up the pachinko machine and you look up the trailer to it, King of Fighters Pachinko, it looks like the game that King of Fighters 14 should have been.
Now that's
Really?
sad.
It
It looks more like the game than the game looks like.
I hate talking about beloved companies that I've used to worship when I was a young gamer, and they're just falling apart at the seams. Everything is just it's just not like it used to be anymore. It's it's more about business these days, and it's mostly coming from Japan. It seems like a lot of Japanese companies are just the ones that used to make great games are just falling apart. I'm not sure the state of Capcom currently, but I think they kind of started riding American video game industry train or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. But
Capcom is focused too much on DLC.
so far, the biggest companies currently, right now, that no one can really be too angry at currently is the ones that you can at least expect them to come out with at least good games is Bandai Namco, Atlas, and Platinum, maybe.
And of course, for Bandai,
I'm trying to look for classic companies that are still relevant these days.
Well, besides Nintendo.
Yeah, besides Nintendo. Konami's in the shitter. I want to say Capcom, but I don't know if I can forgive them yet. They're still kind of that company where I just go like, but
you're still on that. I don't know if I can forgive you yet. Or
no.
Stage of your relationship.
Konami, Capcom, Treasure doesn't exist, or at least it exists, but it's not making any games. It doesn't seem like. Man, we are slowly
Wasn't
running
Treasure
out.
bought by another company or something?
I would like Platinum to buy Treasure.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes, they would. If Platinum and Treasure were to come together, that would be perfect for me. Because I feel like Platinum.
Then we would all come together.
Yeah, I feel like Platinum is a modern Treasure games. I can't be the only one that thinks that. Okay, sorry for this detour, everybody. Let's get back to the news.
Well, the next one is apparently this really, really, really old game that predates the joke of Nukem Forever is getting a Kickstarter to be released finally. It is called The Last Ninja from System 3.
Never
This
played
game was supposed to be made for
No
the
one's played
NES.
it.
The Last Ninja 3, rather. Supposed to be released for the NES. Then it kept getting pushed back, then cancelled, pushed back, cancelled. And finally now, on the 30th anniversary of The Last Ninja, they're doing a Kickstarter for the third game.
Wow. So here's the question: are they going to do what they did with Mega Man? What was it, 9 and 10, where they came out with a new NES game?
Oh my.
That would be something, especially since this is supposed to be made for the current gen platforms as well.
Yeah, well, it worked for Mega Man. I mean, Mega Man, was it 9 and 10? Were those the two? They even went back and they did the box art, like the the terrible box art that was done when they brought Mega Man over. They redid that on purpose in that style.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm looking at gameplay of this The Last Ninja, and
Yep.
it looks like an isometric action game.
Oh, that's a different series. That's the one for the Commodore 64. That predates the one we're talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. I wanted to be.
Let's see here. It's a Ninja Gaiden-like game series, is what it can be compared to.
Oh, so are they doing a? Are they going the Ninja guy? Are they doing a spectacle fighter, or is it like an HD? Hey, Fuzztail.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I forgot to set my alarm.
Woo!
Yeah,
Now where's Alto? And it'll be a party.
Probably sleeping as
So
well.
where are we?
We are talking about The Last Ninja, a game
3.
I've never played, getting a new game for current consoles being crowdfunded.
It's
So
the Last Ninja
basically a
4
remastered release.
right now. Yeah.
And from what I can tell, at least from what everyone's told me, is that it is a Ninja Gaiden-like game. And Gaiden.
Gaiden.
like game.
But yeah, this game predates the development time of like even Duke Nukem Forever.
Basically, a famous piece of vaporware.
It's only famous to people it was relevant to.
I just find it funny that Duke Nukem has more jokes when it was quote unquote in development, in speculations if it was going to be made, more so than this game was. And this one has been tried to be released on every single platform, apparently.
Well, Duke Nukem is more popular than The Last Ninja.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm secretly hoping for a Bioforce Ape Kickstarter. I think that's also another famous piece of vaporware.
I just want the sequel to The Last Vikings. That's all I want.
I have it to your Titan pad.
With the
I'm
music
unable to connect
composer,
to it.
the music. I'll have to link it to you. But the music composer to the Super Nintendo version of The Last Viking. Get those two together, and I guess I will part with my cash.
If the Titan pad's not opening, I'll give you a copy paste.
Yeah, it's not. I tried to connect to it. It's just, it's like
All right,
there's
Kota.
an error.
All right.
It's handler.
Well, anyway, I have a thing for it anyway.
Yeah.
No, I had the copy paste in the
Next
chat.
thing, because I'm actually going to skip what I originally put because it was just a trailer. But anyway, just to briefly mention it, Digimon World Next Order got a new trailer from this year's Tokyo Game Show. If you want to watch it and see all the Japanese Digimon goodness, go look it up.
I had something to say. I'm enjoying the fact that Digimon is gearing itself towards an older audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the best because even though I enjoy and loved Digimon, and in actuality a lot of these people's impression was pretty bad, but a lot of people used to compare it to Pokemon. Digimon is nothing like Pokemon other than having Mons, but a lot of people compared it to Pokemon because I guess it's supposed to have the same sort of demographic, right up there with
the games and all the stuff played
Yu-Gi-Oh!
The same way as, not just Yu-Gi-Oh, but also Pokemon, where it was a kind of catch-em-all-ish thing as well. So that's why it competed with Pokemon.
Wasn't the very first one actually more like a Tamagotchi virtual pet?
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Digimon actually, in my childhood, I actually thought that Digimon is pretty much a evolution of the Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I don't think they had a catch-em-all thing. I think it was more like you could raise one and be able, because you can only
They
use
did have
one.
the evolve thing. Because it was just like all the Tamagotchis. You'd start out with something that looked really lame, and it would get cooler as depending on how you raised it.
Yeah.
But didn't it have a thing where you could actually fit them together to battle or something?
Yeah, I had two of them.
They
I had the first season Digivice and the second season Digivice. I had the black one. It was awesome. I just want to tell y'all how awesome that was. No, but
I wanted to get into Digimon, but I wasn't really around here.
I am die-hard Digimon fan. But
this actually looks like it would be a great introduction to it, though. This looks really cool.
Yeah, I want this. This is what I prefer. I think this is a good idea. They should. A lot of Digimon's fans are older fans anyway. There's not a lot of young kids talking about Digimon like it's crazy. So they should gear it towards a teenage the Final Fantasy crowd or something. I don't know.
And the Rule 34 crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. They already have fan service.
That Renamon thirst.
They actually do have fan service in one that's coming over to the US.
Does it involve Renamon?
No, it's they do have sexual moments or
Renamon?
sexualized characters. I don't know if it involves Renamon, but I do know I seen a trailer and there was like a lady and she had like a really low neckline, so you can see a lot of her boobs. That was a lot more tense than Digimon was used to.
I think out of all the furry characters, Renamon and Crystal have had the privilege of having the most different dongs inside of them. They have had the most Blue 34 out of anyone.
Which is shocking to me a little bit. Not really. No, it's not. It's not shocking at all. It is not shocking at all.
Shocking with the Pikachu.
But
I was actually... oh my! I want. This is perfect. Go this route. If you localize it,
right back.
If they localize it, I want them to go this route. See, here's my this is what I'm worried about. All right. If y'all don't already know, Saban Brands owns the rights to Digimon.
Oh boy.
And they are localizing one of the Digimon games that fans have been wanting to be localized on the Vita. And I'm worried, is Saban Brands going to get their crusty hands on it and 4Kids it all up? Because
no.
Saban
Brands, even think of that.
Saban Brands currently the 4Kids right now. They currently are the company that pretty much owns a lot of 4Kids properties currently, I think.
Well, at least you know one thing. They won't do a blue pickup. Not a blue pickup.
They already currently have they already caught the rights to Precure Smile, which they're renaming in America as Glitter Force.
What?
Yes. They are renaming Precure to Glitter Force.
There should be certain abominations that you can commit on a franchise that get it taken away from you.
And that already disappointed me because Precure is a violent magical girl series. If you look up the fight scenes, you will know that Precure is the love child of Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. It is a very violent series. So my biggest worry, and worry coming from being at least a half of a Precure fan, is that they will butcher the fight scenes.
They're gonna pull. You're worried that they're gonna pull a Gachamon.
Yes.
So moving on to something a little bit more happy.
This was happy originally, and we were talking about a new Digimon game, and then
we realized that Saban is gonna get their grubby little claws on it.
Something to get your mind off it. Apparently, there was research done that proves that video games can help alleviate lazy eye.
That is not new. I've read about that before.
And apparently, this is...
It was a pilot study, so these are preliminary results, but that's very interesting.
And, okay, an adult that plays video games apparently gets the results faster than a child going through therapy for their lazy eye. Faster. 5 times faster.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. That's really awesome.
Well, that's great.
From like Call of Duty to SimCity. Helps
even SimCity?
Lazy eye.
I mean, SimCity's pretty slow paced, but
it's detail in the little bits that's going on in it.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's great news. That's basically like it's always nice when something that is like already in everyone's household turns out to have a medical purpose, because it's like it works for a medical purpose, and you're not going to get gouged for it because it's suddenly a pharmaceutical.
I hate
Unless
to
you
get
know
back
the
on.
pharmaceuticals decide to make their medical brand video games.
They just buy all the video game companies.
Get your prescription to the next battlefield.
Yes.
I might be. I hate to get back on Digimon real quick, just real quick, but I might not. Saban might not own the game rights or something like that.
Oh.
I hope that's true. I really hope that someone else is handling the translation on.
If I
And the
remember,
Digimon game is called Cyber Sleuth, by the way. Digimon Stories Cyber Sleuth.
okay, if I remember right, the last few Digimon games that came to the U.S. was published by Bandai Namco in America.
Yeah, so it's possible. I'm more worried about the localization of it, but I'm wondering Bandai is like, and if Saban doesn't really give a crap about how Bandai handles the game. I just hope they don't kidify it. Cyber Sleuth is already a pretty dark game. I hope they don't kidify it. It would really ruin it. All right, well, yeah, on to other news besides me talking about Digimon all over the place. And the awesome fact that video games cure lazy eye. So those with lazy eye, play some
Hello.
games.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Fuzztail.
No, I'm just saying
That-
hello
that
because
timing.
I actually suffer from lazy eye.
Oh, well then, yes. Video
Play
games,
video games, apparently. It alleviates it.
alleviates it.
That means I need to play more video games.
10 days straight, about 2 hours a day at minimum.
All right then.
10 days a week of 10 days a week. 10 days,
So,
2 hours a day of brutal doom.
apparently,
Yeah.
Fire Emblem's Fate is getting DLC that features the one and only Anna. For those who've played Fire Emblem, and I haven't, so I can't really comment.
I
just
can't
played-
comment either.
I
The
unfortunately
last-
haven't either.
The last one I played was Awakening, so I just.
And
just
apparently, there's
can't
also a
either.
map designed from Awakening in the new game, Fates. That comes with the DLC.
Oh.
Somebody said Sarban and Digimon, live action Digimon, Power Ranger style. Oh God, no! Please no.
Done on the Power
They're
Rangers
already
budget.
butchering Sentai. I don't want them to make their own.
Digitransform! Digitransform!
As long as
Mega
Jude Lin gets it
Digital
right.
Activate!
I like him. He's pretty rad, but it's still stupid. All right.
You know, I do think that there is actually something to be said about a PvP kind of arena style game with Digimons, and basically you have to figure out ways to digivolve and become more powerful so you can dominate the battlefield.
I don't understand why Mon games someone isn't capitalizing on whatever Bandai Namco or Nintendo is not doing with Mon games. You know, like MMORPGs
Or
and
MOBAs.
fucking yes, MOBAs and battle arena games. Come on, companies get it in there. I'm pretty sure you can come up with 100 better Mons than anything Nintendo has been churning out for the last.
Actually, there's a
years.
game. That's a game on the
I
PC
do like
kind of largely
Pokemon Black and
forgotten.
White.
Actually, there's a game on the PC that has been largely forgotten, right? And it's called Zanzara.
Zanzara.
Yeah.
What is that?
There was a Mon game I played that I really enjoyed, and it was called J Cocoon.
I played that.
I played the first one. I don't think I ever. There was a second one. It
Yeah,
existed.
the name of the game
Maybe I
is
suck
called
at the game.
Zanzara: The Hidden Portal, and it's basically a fairy kind of a battler kind of game. It's actually quite interesting because the combat takes place in something like a Quake 3 arena style of a map, and you have to pretty much fight.
That's interesting. So
And
when I was
in third person.
Yes? Really young and Red and Blue first came out for Pokemon, I kept wanting a 3D one, 3D Pokemon. And now 3D Pokemon has come out, but it's nothing like what I envisioned it. I'd always envisioned it like you navigate the 3D space similar to you would in say like Ocarina of Time or something like that. Whereas largely it's been limited to it's 3D visuals.
It's classic Pokemon with 3D visuals.
But you're navigating a 2D space. I've always wondered if someone could make a Mon game that actually you navigate a fully 3D space like that.
How about a Mon game that doesn't use a turn-based combat thing, because that shit is fucking boring.
Yes, thank you. It just seemed like something of all the and I'm an RPG gamer, and I kind of like turn-based kind of games, but I feel like Mons don't lend themselves as well as the companies want them to turn-based games.
Since Digimon is a Namco Bandai franchise, right? Why not combine it with the idea of a Tales of franchise and make it some sort of a side-scrolling linear motion battle system for Digimon?
Yes. I don't see why it just seemed like it's such a, and especially from a multiplayer aspect, and nothing's really fun turn-based in multiplayer unless you're playing with like cards or something. Nothing's fun taking turns unless it's like it has to be specific kinds of games. But if it's like a traditional RPG layout, it just seems more like you're playing rock paper scissors.
But what about like Final Fantasy 7? Isn't that fine?
Very flashy. No, I'm talking about multiplayer. Turn-based gameplay.
Yeah, like you have to do something clever. Like Frozen Synapse did something clever.
Yeah,
and that's why it worked.
And that's why I always prefer the collection aspect of Pokemon, but not the battling aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. So I've known a few people who like the breeding aspect, and they basically just play that as if it's its own game.
I like what I do when I play Pokemon is I just like collecting the Pokemon that I like and enjoy, naming them the names I enjoy, and then talking to my friends about how cool my Pokemon are or something like that. But I don't really care too much about making them fight.
Gremlin, take a look at my rock dildo dragon.
But it just seems like such a it's a market that isn't being fed at all, and Nintendo is so stubborn with its franchise, and I can't say anything about Digimon's franchise because I don't even know what Bandai did. I like the direction they're going currently, so I guess there we go. But overall, it seems like a lot of Mon companies aren't capitalizing on fighting games, MOBAs, and MMOs.
Imagine a Pokemon MMO though. Like you would have like level 1 kids, right, battling like level 80 bug catchers.
Yes. Yes. Oh, man. If Nintendo can't do it, companies got to do it, right? If you got an idea and you got a company, you got pull, you got money, do it.
On to the next topic.
All right.
Apparently, the Society of Professional Journalists are going to potentially be hosting the first ever video game journalism awards.
Oh, this is relevant to us, isn't it?
So basically, journalists are going to give themselves awards.
It'll be interesting to see because
of the masturbatory nature of it.
Oh man.
Due to that, and also due to how. Like the Pulitzer Prize for journalism is usually given for revealing something that is like a piece that's really hard hitting and reveals something that's surprising about the world and informs people. But
well, there you have it. Why do we need a specific journalism award when we can just get the Pulitzer Prize?
But that's what I'm wondering is what type of thing with regards to games journalism is going to be like that.
Honestly, I think that they're doing that so they can set the bar low so everyone can feel rewarded just for participating.
Well,
I've never been a fan of award shows, so I couldn't really give anything other than a meh response to this. But yeah, go ahead.
I think the only one who's actually doing that style of journalism with regards to games is like Game Politics. And oddly enough, Lewd Gamer. Loot Gamer
Yeah.
actually had their investigative piece that they did about what was it, about DL site, right? And how they the third parties involved in their financial transaction system and things like that, and how they were playing the currency markets and things like that. So that was like the only other than stuff on game politics, that was like the only real investigative journalism piece that I can think of that happened last year. So it's going to be interesting to see what the heck they're rewarding. I mean, there are people in games journalism who are qualified journalists and have like a master's degree in journalism, but they're not who you expect them to be. Totello. So I'm very
Glorified bloggers.
yeah, I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, I'm ready to lose my shit if they give anyone from
lovely
Polygon.
bunch of hypocrites. Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I can tell you this, that if they give anyone from Polygon or Gawker a prize, right, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Ah,
Oh boy.
You
well,
know
that
it's
was a
going to
little bit
happen.
funny. So, next thing. Okay, I'm probably going to mess up the pronunciation, but the entire series of Live visual novel series is doing a Kickstarter to do an English localization of the entire visual novel series.
Oh, wow. How the heck do you pronounce that? Move Louvre? Muv Love?
Mavlov?
Love?
Muv Love, maybe.
Love?
Muff diving.
Muff, baby.
And yes, they've already completed goals, which was
Oh, it's pronounced
$250,000. They're currently
Mafulavu.
sitting at
Mafulavu.
Yeah.
Mafulavu.
I don't have anything to contribute here.
I've never heard of it before, really.
Me neither.
neither have I. But I thought it was interesting that this company went to Kickstarter to get funding for the localization of their entire series.
Yeah, this is definitely a first.
Yeah.
Doing a Kickstarter for localization of an entire and here's the thing about kickstarting localization is it's not like kickstarting something like what's fresh on my mind right now, Mighty Number 9, where you really don't know what's going to pop out the other end once everything's been through the meat grinder. Localization, what do you end up with? Well, you end
Everything's
up with
already been
exactly
made,
what
so
you want,
yeah.
translated and localized and everything
Oh,
like
you know
that.
what?
So
Maybe some voice
Never
acting.
mind this news story. Never mind this news story because I just saw something pretty interesting about here. It's worth mentioning that Dejika is also bringing various cave shoot 'em up to the PC, with the first game being Moshihime-sama. And if you take a look at the artwork for Moshihime-sama on the article, right, that is linked in that page, right, you can see like a anime girl in a very, very ornate costume, right, riding a giant stag beetle. So that seems pretty
That
interesting.
sounds very Japan.
Yep.
Yes.
And if
very,
that's the kind
very
of game that
Japan.
they're bringing to Steam, right, then I'm pretty excited because that sort of weirdness is something that we really need.
Well, it did say to PC as well, along with along with PS3 and Android and Vita. And one of the stretch goals is Android and Vita.
The PC
If they
needs
reach up
more
to
strategy
$500,000.
RPGs. The PC needs more strategy RPGs like Disgaea.
Yes.
Controlled by mouse.
Yeah, I would love if they bring this guy to the PC.
And allow mouse functionality.
Yes.
That's my contribution to
And
this topic.
allow mods to have new characters in it. Like bringing, I don't know, let's say, just for our laugh, Luffy into the sky to fight. Just to say.
Oh boy.
I'm only saying because he's like a really wacky character, and Disgaea is a very
boy.
wacky game.
Like, modding would be kind of awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yes.
Alright.
And for the as here, game voice actors consider strike against game developers.
Okay, I have something to talk about this. This is fun. All right. Part of me go. This is going to be one of those things where I'm going to say that if game actors go on strike, game companies are not going to give three flying fucks of shit about it.
Yes.
It's kind of sad, but yeah, you know what? Like voice actors are actually kind of replaceable.
Yeah.
And games can actually go without voice acting.
Yeah. So this is one of those things where I feel bad for these actors.
I know they
But
aren't being treated well, and there really isn't as good of a chance that they could to get what they want or need with a strike.
It Yeah, I saw the article where they did the interviews. It's also it has the potential to create bad blood between developers and voice actors too, because conditions in the gaming industry for workers are bad in general.
wow, I don't know who this developer is. This is some brass. Okay, he says, drop them all, said one developer. I couldn't give less of a shit who the actors are that perform game voices. These people are nuts. They already get too much money for what is arguably a pretty easy gig. We're working years on a single project for. If we are lucky, fair salaries.
The issue is that apparently the voice actors guild is asking for movie style royalties.
Yep, to the games.
And no one gets royalties on games. No one who works on a game gets royalties. Usually.
I think these game companies are not missing them. This is funny. This is the best example of why video games are so different from film, television, and all that, and why people need to see that, because this right here is a good example of how games work.
Yeah.
Voice acting isn't even it's the least important part of a video game currently.
It's just a little extra feature for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I would argue that bad voice acting can actually hurt a game greatly.
It can't. The thing is with the gaming industry, though, is that there's still this attitude of you have this privilege of working within it, and you will put up with all the horrible conditions just so that you can work in the industry, right? There's developers who are working exempt positions. That means that they're salaried, and they don't get paid overtime, who are working overtime for the regular salary, whereas they could be working for some startup in San Francisco instead, and get more reasonable hours for the same pay, just for the quote-unquote privilege of working in the games industry. So trying to take it and go the other direction of saying, well, compared to the film industry, the conditions in the game industry are bad, so you should make them better. Yes, everyone should have better working conditions in the game industry, but that's not the environment we're in right now. And if you do that, you're going to get dropped like a hot potato. And it's sad, but that's just what's going to happen.
Grim, take a look at chat, by the way.
Okay. What's going on during chat currently?
One of the people that we know from Twitter wants to know if he can join the stream.
Who is this? Dr. Watson. Seeing as Chris isn't here, and I've stated very clearly that if someone's not here, I will add a substitute. I don't know. I don't even know this Dr. Watson person, dog.
He's
Let's give him a chance.
On Twitter.
He's PC Fox on Twitter.
He speaks his thoughts on Twitter?
PC Fox on Twitter.
PC Fox.
PC Fox, the Constable Fox.
Okay. I am so sorry, sir. Ma'am. Person. I don't think I've ever talked to you.
Let's give them a chance, though. I don't think it would hurt.
I'm always worried about like just randomly having people pop into the. But I mean, like whatever. Y'all know the person more than I do, probably. Do y'all? Do y'all know more about it? Or just a crazy person asking for
Yeah.
to get in? Okay,
Yeah, as long
fine.
as he
Go.
doesn't have a history of pulling on John Kelly, then I think he should be welcome.
Okay, sure.
I don't think he's ever been on stream, so nope.
Has any of you talked to this person regularly?
No.
We've
He's
chatted in
in
DM
the-
before.
Yeah, he's in the.
Ah, fuck it. It's a wild card. What's the worst that could happen? If he goes crazy, I'll kick him or something. Send him the link, but wherever
Okay.
he
If I
has
can-
to send it.
All right, I'll DM it to them.
Yeah. Oh
That's all right,
boy.
Rick.
Oh boy. So while we're on dead air, I'm gonna continue talking about this.
Okay.
Voice actors, Ashley Birch, Nolan North, what's the other guy who's really popular? Played the Joker once. Fucking what is his name? It starts with a T.
You know what is interesting is that actually I've seen a Medium post by Will Wheaton about it. If you want, I can dig my emails out to find it.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that the two people that they're using to champion this are Will Wheaton and Ashley Birch, and they could have made better choices than that. But I know why they picked them, because Will Wheaton, especially, is the geek celebrity who will say whatever needs to be said at that point in time by whoever's telling him to say it. So
Well, I don't know why David Hayter's here. I guess he's burned from Konami. And Jennifer Hale, she's pretty good. For her stuff from Jennifer Hale. She's a pretty rad person. All these people are pretty cool. But I mean, like, it's not like it's not like video game companies are gonna miss them. That's the thing.
well, yeah, that's
Honestly, Will Wheaton doesn't have the right attitude to be working on the game industry. Like, he has a pretty shitty attitude towards gamers in general, and the fact that he's still working in the game industry shows that he's kind of desperate for work at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like,
And
I
you
say
know
what you will about her. I liked Ashley Birch, but most of the time I couldn't tell it was her when she does any voice acting gigs. So it doesn't really feel that special. When I hear her voice,
I kind of feel bad for Ashley Birch, though.
she's just a popular female voice actor. She's good at what she does. I'm not saying she's a terrible voice actor, but it's more like she's nothing special except for
Unlike
Tiny
Will
Tina.
Wheaton.
I like Tiny Tina, I guess.
How's it going?
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
How are
There's a
y'all?
cat in the background. Is the cat going to be in the podcast too?
I can get him if you want. Yeah, come here, Tigger.
No.
Come here.
Uh,
Come here. Come on. Oh, you've already eaten today. I know that.
On a side note, I just bought Franbo.
Hmm?
Franbo. It's one of the most interesting point-and-click adventure horror games that I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we talk about
Other stuff.
other stuff. Well, okay. So, yeah, voice actors, y'all are probably wasting your time.
probably. Shit. Paddle.
So,
Honestly, right, to be honest, right, the best voice actors are the ones that appear in those cheesy action shooters, like Duke Nukem 3D, so John St. John, and John J. Dick of Series 7 fame.
Yeah.
Or, they are very, very infamous for their very bad voice acting, like a Jill Sandwich.
Now, I've always seen that, like, whenever you have a movie, like a game that's sourced for movies, say one of the Bond games, they always have great voice acting, but the content itself is horrible.
Yeah.
Well,
No one
Stories are
buys
always-
video games for. Here's the thing, all right. Voice acting in video games is all about how hammy you can be. It's not about this is how I feel. It's like I prefer if video games is the only medium where I prefer that a voice actor is hammy as possible with it, because it kind of enhances the gaming experience to me.
So like that, yeah. So like that guy who voice acted the villain in Call of Duty: Advanced Warfare.
Something like just comic book levels of absurdity, because it kind of enhances the game. I mean, you only expect like a serious I'm an actor voice acting from like a game, like a David Cage game or something.
Right.
I'm an actor.
But like that's how I feel on this topic of gaming voice actors. I always prefer the hammier ones.
So
come with me to hell. That's Soul Calibur 2.
So apparently, Riot issued a 2-year ban on the OPL team immunity.
Well, they aren't immune from being banned now, are they?
They are banned because their owners, the people who own the team, have been cheating them on their pay.
Huh. Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that would suck.
Yeah.
I got nothing to contribute other than saying that it sucks.
Yeah.
So pretty much,
I think
the League of Legends team is being cheated out being paid, and just given things like, here, have this Steel Series mouse.
Huh.
Yep.
You know what I think that should have been done, right? Team immunity should just the players should just walk out and go on strike until they actually get paid.
Yeah, but I think it was also done to make sure that they don't just fire the people and then have new players replace them. They made sure that they made sure that the owners don't do that and therefore continue getting money off of the team.
Right.
That OPL will work with them to find new teams so they can continue play and they'll still be able to vote.
I got nothing.
Yep.
It's such a strange circumstance because it's not often that people who are not getting paid will continue to work.
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess in professional esports, it's young enough that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. So Team Immunity also has teams in Heroes of the Storm and Counter-Strike Go. The team is sponsored by Intel and a number of other companies. In other words, the owners have been taking money from Intel and never paying their players, which is kind of a very, very shit-eating move.
Or Intel's been taking money.
Esports is a very young, like y'all said, it's a very young thing currently. So,
By the way,
it's very susceptible to shit like this.
And here's a tweet from one of the players, from Solo Q Menes or MissFish _, and they said, "Can confirm Immunity did not pay me for the 5 ? Games I played. Did send me some nice Steel Series stuff though, so I guess thanks for that."
Huh.
Yep.
So this thing isn't like covert or hidden, right? It's not like it's hidden, right? The players are actually talking about this, and yeah, it's something that's gonna fall, like the roof is gonna fall on, and sooner or later, because like if you're gonna run a professional gaming team, right, you better fucking pay your players.
Actually, here's something interesting. In South Korea, this is almost semi-common occurrence that happens to teams.
I know that it is very predatory, and that is why we need to make an example out of them.
Korea for esports teams.
Yeah, that is even more reason to set and make an example out of immunity, because this shit cannot be allowed to go on.
No, it's pretty underhanded.
Yeah.
That
I
is
mean,
just
these are people that
unusual.
are playing, like, these are people who spend like 8 to 10 hours practicing their game to be able to play professionally, right? It is pretty much their full-time job. And if you can't be asked to pay them the full-time job, then you have no business running a professional gaming team.
Right. Well,
Well,
that's just
on
the same as.
something a little bit more humorous. This week in Kickstarter, hilariously pretentious. Some Kickstarter games. This one, for example, called Essence. Essence is a real exploration game where the world you travel change and evolve as you progress. Within each world are challenging riddles, all which contain different stages and elements to solve as the world changes around you. This is a bunch of different Kickstarters that this article is about, and quite a few of them is kind of a little bit semi-pretentious, like this one.
Yeah. Sounds like that one first-person like puzzle game, like that is made in the Unreal Engine. I forgot what its name is, but I know the tagline was "You are not here."
I don't know. Now, the next Kickstarter in this is called Pizzo Noir. Now, this one's not really pretentious, I don't think. Pizzo Noir is a Japanese RPG detective game set in a film noir-style city. Players are expected to solve a variety of mysteries as the city's cheapest private eye. Players will control the character through turn-based combat. By teaming up with other heroes on your team, characters can unleash devastating combos, a la a Chrono Trigger style. Players can explore the game, explore the city, while using their investigation mode to reveal clues. By leveling up in investigation mode, over time, players can unlock new secrets and storylines. Players who think outside the box will be rewarded with choice. There's more than one way to stop a boss. Try different strategies to take down the criminal thugs controlling the city. And the last game Kickstarter. It's called Legacy of Koi Oden, an African fantasy action RPG.
I've seen gameplay of this. This doesn't look too hot. I'm gonna tell you right now, from the gameplay perspective.
Come on,
it's
Graham, it's
like
progressive. It's only African people. It's very progressive, you know.
I have to say, I like the artwork, but the gameplay doesn't seem too different from anything else. In fact, I would say that the interface actually needs a lot of work because some of the fonts just don't seem to match the aesthetics of the game world. Like the numbers that pop up when you do damage, right? It seems like way too generic. So they really need to try to, like a gel the aesthetics together to make
this
a
looks
much
like a
more
browser
unified
game.
experience. It does. Yeah, it does.
It looks like a browser game, and that's my issue with it. It's like, it got really nice artwork. There seems to be some smooth animation with the sprite work, but it's very
bland in terms of gameplay looking.
It reminds me a lot of a browser, there's tons of Flash games that look better than this.
Probably.
What is it called?
It is called
Orion Legacy of the Koryodan.
Yep, what she said.
Huh.
It doesn't look good.
I'll take your word for it.
It doesn't look good.
Some people was going to eat this up simply because progressive.
Yeah, progressive, but it doesn't look like it's getting any. Oh, it's only 40% funded. Okay, well maybe I was wrong, but
it's still got 23 days to go, so there's a chance that it's not gonna. Whatever.
They need to put this sucker back in the oven. I'm hoping that this is like beta screenshots or something.
Probably not.
It might even be concept art.
I'd be shocked if it was. It seemed like it might be like them just throwing their sprites and concept art into the game.
Yeah.
Or something. I'll have to look more into it to see when I'm getting myself.
Now, if you were going to just throw sprites and concept art around, then that seems a little early to be doing all the funding for it.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Red Ash earlier, where they had an alpha that was.
That wasn't even the same engine.
Wow.
By the way, the engine for the alpha was Unity.
Oh!
Yeah, that's
Fuck Unity.
There is a name for that, and it's not alpha. It's proof of concept.
What? No, not fuck Unity. There are developers who can take Unity and do some wonderful things with it. So I have to acknowledge they exist. Unfortunately, there's a ton of developers that do an entirely poor job with Unity. To the point of I'm not even sure they did a job at all.
I've actually messed around in Unity before. It's pretty clever how it works. It reminds me of basically what it is every single thing, which so usually in a game engine it doesn't work like this, but every single thing inside the game world runs its own script. Kind of reminds me a bit of Second Life in that regard. So you write your own script. You can use
Lua?
C#.
Oh.
Or Boo, which is a language I've never heard of, or JavaScript to write the scripts in.
Does it use Ruby as well? Can it be its own?
I don't remember if it did Ruby or not.
I think you may need a plugin for that.
Yeah. But anyway, it was kind of cool in that respect.
How's Unity at 2D games?
There's a plugin for it. By default, it doesn't do 2D, but I believe it does have a plugin for it.
It would be still bugged as hell, though.
Well, from my experience with Unity, it's great for games such as Kerbal, which are entirely, physics-based. But it, like you said, everything in Unity has a script, and that makes a big problem for Kerbal because Kerbal it renders the entire universe in one go. It does it all at once. Which it puts a strain on my shitty-ass laptop. Let's just put it at that.
That's generally the problem you'll see with Unity games too. Is they don't scale quite as well as the developer expected it to when they started their project.
Like Slenderman.
What was the other one that was what was it? It was Star something, kind of Minecraft but with guns in space.
Starbound?
Maybe. Anyway,
are you thinking about Space Engineers?
No, not Space Engineers. Space Engineers I don't think is Unity.
But you're thinking of Starbound, which is a sort of a space
when I think of Unity, right, the only thing I can think of is that horrible like Russian zombie shooter game that got shot on Steam.
Burn Zombie Burn?
What?
No.
Good games?
No, it's a first-person one.
What famous games run on Unity?
What good games?
Like famous good games.
Oh, Kerbal isn't that famous, is it?
Well,
Kerbal is pretty well known. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's the greatest thing since I'm obsessed with it, but that makes me biased towards it.
I need to look that up.
Kerbal Space Program.
Oh, I've seen that before. That game is kind of rad.
Yeah,
it's fun. I love it.
So
there are other games that run on it. I can't think of anything right now.
I can't think of any at the moment. I think Jim Sterling talked about like Unity games that are good and Unity games that are just fucking horrible a while back.
I know. I liked Guns of Icarus, but again, it was the original proposal for Guns of Icarus was way more ambitious than what actually ended up happening in Guns of Icarus.
Most indie games kind of end up being that way.
But for what it is, it's fun. And that's a Unity game.
So, on to the next bit. Square Enix reveals more Final Fantasy 15 and Type 0 story details from the Tokyo Game Show.
I'm strapping in.
Final Fantasy Type 0. I remember seeing the launch of Final Fantasy Type 0 on Steam, and it was a big, massive disaster because of how poorly it ran on the PCs. Which is pretty typical for any Square Enix Final Fantasy titles being ported to the PC.
Aren't they all kind of like a shit show?
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, the recent one, Final Fantasy V, was even worse than Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, because it is based on the Android port.
So was 4.
Yep.
Now this one's actually even worse because it has a lot of textures all kind of going wonky and things just breaking. The current Steam review for it is sitting around 63% for it.
Which is kind of low because considering how good the game itself is, right? That shows you like how much a port can ruin the score of a otherwise good game.
I bet you I could try to explain the story of Final Fantasy XIV or read it right here, and you would not be able to understand what I'm talking about. The story takes place in the wake of an occupation of the Empire of Nephilim. Noctis serves as the main protagonist, the heir to Lucius, and the son of King Regis, who defends the city through the use of a crystal. Luna, the secondary protagonist, is a young oracle and betrothed to Noctis. Along with these details, Square Enix revealed. That's it. That's all. That's the details. Square Enix revealed the character Genitalia, who stands alongside.
What? What? What the fuck? There's someone called Genitalia?
Gentina.
Gentina.
Stands alongside Yuna. They say the character will be important to the story.
More details will be revealed later this year. Of course, that is Square Enix's favorite catchphrase. That is their favorite fucking catchphrase. They'll tell you the main character name is Noctis. More details will be revealed later this year. I fucking hate this. I'm not trying to ask for the entire game to be spoiled, but this is getting retarded now. I remember when they did a trailer. They showed a trailer at no, they said a name and then they said more review details will be revealed later this year. I think that's what it was. The guy came.
You know what would have been better? Fucking gameplay footage.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the way.
But Final Fantasy XIV does look like it's going to be a good game because I've seen the demos of it. And
wait, you mean 15?
Yeah. 15.
Wait, Graham, you kind of fucked up the entire thing, right?
Oh,
this
God.
is about Final Fantasy 15, not 14. That's why I got a little bit confused.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You keep calling it 14. I was telling you it's 15.
I'm not going to get used to this. I'm not going to get used to this.
And by the way, the second game they showed off was a trailer for Final Fantasy Type 0 Online, which is planned to be released for smartphones, Windows PC, and PSP.
I am not excited. Originally, I was excited, but then I saw Type 0, and when you swing the camera, the game becomes a big giant smear.
Oh yes, we've seen Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, and it's not a good port. Like they pretty much just ripped the game out of the PSP and dumped it on the PC and just made sure that it runs. That's all it did.
Smears every time you turn the camera. It just smears across the screen.
HD motion blur for the win.
Oh,
and also they showed off a new trailer for World of Final Fantasy.
I swear I think they put all that motion blur in that game just because they wanted to hide how
ugly
it looks.
Normally,
can we just get rid of like the whole Final Fantasy series and just start new with a new, fresh like fantasy RPG series? Because it seems like Square Enix is running out of ideas for this franchise and just running it into the ground instead of just letting it die.
I wish games would get
Gaming
rid of
just
artificial motion blur.
I mean, like in the recent years, right? The only good Final Fantasy games are the MMOs, and that says a lot. It's almost as if Square Enix
Yeah.
only knows how to make Final Fantasy MMOs, not anymore.
You know what they should do is actually try and
Get rid of motion
capitalize
blur?
on. They
A
should try
motion
and
blur-
capitalize more. Break
Yeah,
the
but
ball.
It should only be in 30 FPS games, not
that was the
60
original-
FPS games. God damn it!
That was
Not
the original
even
purpose
that.
of motion blur was if there's a low frame rate, it would make it so you wouldn't puke because it would act as if it was a camera with a wide, what do they call that thing? Aperture?
Yeah, wide
You mean like
aperture.
a Fishlands? Or Fisheye Lands or what?
Like fucking Tekken has motion blur, and that still bothers me. It just looks
Yeah.
weird.
Now, I could see like a more realistic FPS use motion blur because whenever you turn quick, in real life, you can't see every little detail.
Yeah, and that's what Arma does. Arma has all sorts of clever blurs that it does in order to make it more realistic. Even if you get damaged and things like that, your camera starts to sway and all sorts of cool stuff. But even that, Arma's extremely configurable too because you should be able to turn everything off because it's a simulation. So
Right.
Yeah.
I hate.
And then when you turn certain things off in Arma 3, things start to break in hilarious ways.
well, yes, that's the other point of Arma is to break it.
Yeah.
So, who here really loved the playable teaser for Sonic Hills?
But,
PT?
I think I missed out
oh,
on that.
PT, yes, I do.
PT.
Yeah.
I liked it. I never played it, but I liked it.
So apparently, someone decided, fuck this, since they won't make Sonic Hills, I'm
No,
gonna make a game
Let me
based on
explain this.
PT.
Let me explain this. Someone said, "Fuck this. Konami hates money. I like money. I am going to do what Konami wasn't going to do."
Sounds about right to me.
Yep. The game is called Allison Road, first-person horror, made by a team of entertainment industry veterans and lifelong game enthusiasts. They are seeking to raise about $388,000 in Kickstarter. Now that's saying
Good.
something when they want only about a couple 100,000, and the trailers look pretty much kind of along the same lines as PT was in
Because
terms of
they like
gameplay and
money.
graphics.
They realized that
Yep.
Konami didn't like money. So they're like, "This is a market that Konami has abandoned. We're going to insert ourselves into this."
Yep.
And many will rejoice.
Yep.
Well, survival horror is one of those genres that really seems to have ups and downs to it.
Now someone needs to make.
Because you have to do it right.
Now someone
If
needs to make.
you don't do it right, you fucked up the whole formula.
Now
Yes.
someone needs to make a Metal Gear Solid 5 that was supposed to be Metal Gear Solid 5.
I still have not been able to buy it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, they find the release for PC and be finished around Q3 2016.
Uh-huh.
I am looking forward to that.
So am I. I would like to play what could have been Silent Hills.
Yeah, I've actually mentioned this before, but we really do need like a new Silent Hill, like a spiritual successor, because Konami has pretty much killed the franchise from the inside out for many years now. And the only thing that we
we
need
need
to do is to just revive the franchise. Yeah, to revive the franchise in the form of another name, of something that someone else is doing, We need a new everything that Konami does. Like you said, we need a new Castlevania. We need a new Silent Hill. We even need a new Metal Gear Solid because holy shit, like Metal Gear Solid 5 is a pretty fucked up release. Like It isn't even like complete, and the first DLC that they released for Metal Gear Solid 5 is pretty much horse armor.
By the way, they've actually said they will not be doing any story DLC for it.
What?
In case if he wasn't here.
That's fucking bullshit. Konami.
Well.
Fuck Konami.
Yeah. So.
At least DDR has been rescued.
Oh, you know what else needs to be rescued? Rocket Knight. Save my goddamn Rocket Knight. Save it. Only you can do it. You're our only hope.
Goddamn Rocket Knight. Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit of Kickstarter for this podcast. And did you know, apparently, Kickstarter will now be a public benefit corporation.
Uh-huh.
What does that
So
mean?
what will that entail?
Unlike most corporations, benefit corporations are for-profit businesses which argue they provide a public positive benefit to society. Benefit corporations are a rarity in the United States, constituting only about less than 0.1% of all businesses, but encompasses factors of both non-profit and for-profit organizations. Essentially, they are bound both to their shareholders and the public as a whole in terms of transparency and must demonstrate their services, create general public benefit defined as material positive impact on society and the environment, taken as a whole and assessed against a third-party standard.
So they're a church?
So I have a question. I have a question though. Does that mean that Kickstarter is going to start suing people who just take the money and run off with it? Because I would love to see that happen.
And to finish off the article, Kickstarter said that they believe more people will begin moving towards benefit corporations and away from a profit above all style thinking with the change of Kickstarter. Now the new charter defining their goals as a PBC. The new stasis was agreed upon by
unanimously.
The Kickstarter shareholders, and their new responsibilities as a benefit corporation must present a yearly benefit statement. The first of which will be released February of 2017. And they are legally obligated to give back to society in tangible ways.
Charities and shit.
Yep.
Huh.
Sound like a church.
It doesn't sound. I mean, there's not much
thing I can think of.
There's not much you can say to criticize that. Although, I mean, it all ends up being how empty and corporate it ends up being, as always, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like
the one thing I do care about is that if they actually start going after like a Kickstarter people who like take your money and just run off without doing anything.
Yeah.
Because there has been like plenty of Kickstarter scams that have gotten away with because there's actually no like a easy way to hold the people who run Kickstarters accountable. Like, let's just say, and I had to say this, but this is something that needs to happen because like otherwise we'd have people like Keiji Inafune just like shitting out Kickstarters without ever finishing the promise of any one of those.
Yeah, see ya.
Sadly, I don't think that this will have much an effect on that because I was listening carefully to the wording of it. They just have to show that they are doing things that benefit the public. They don't have to do anything about their actions which do not benefit the public.
Uh-huh.
So, unless I am making assumptions based off of what I've just heard, it doesn't sound like this will take care of that problem. They're going to be just as...
Well, that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, though, that doesn't mean they're not going to. It just means that they don't have to.
Yeah.
There's also a mention of ensuring no exploitive tax loopholes and engaging in exploitive lobbying or selling user information.
Oh, yeah, that's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Let's
Oh,
see.
boy.
What else we got?
I'm gonna skip the Nets thing because it's just kind of a game going on sale that I think everyone already knows it's on sale.
Yeah. Well, I just bought it. I just got like the System Shock Enhanced Edition, and the reason why I just picked it up, right, is because I really love Night Dive Studios and what they're doing by bringing old games back into modern systems. Like, have you played like Strife Veteran Edition? It is a pretty fantastic port of an old game, right? And the fact that they released it on Steam, right, makes it even better because it means that everyone is going to look at it and they're going to try it, and they're going to find out there's just what of a gem they missed with Strife. And they're doing something similar with System Shock, right? And I love them for it.
Well, since she's mentioned it, System Shock has gotten a update called Enhanced Edition, and it's being sold now on GOG, which is goodoldgames.com. There you go. On to the next section. New gamer news.
Time for some lewds.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about that. That's what I.
So-
That's what I wake up in the morning for.
First, you have my curiosity. Now you have my full attention.
Now, how many people
Penis
here
jokes.
know of Shademan? Shademan.
Doesn't he do
Yeah.
like risky / cheesy pinups of various
know.
fan art stuff?
I know that
Oh,
Shadman draws a incredibly nice.
But
I've been on the site.
Nice traps. Yes.
Nice
He
traps.
does
I
Rule,
only care
rule
about his
34
traps.
of every variety,
I only
not just
care.
pinups.
He does everything from just plain to extremely risque and very, very non-PC.
I can just put it this way: he draws stuff that can only be shown on Sad Panda.
Yay,
Yes.
Sad Panda!
Anyway,
That's my favorite side.
a fan decided from his icons that he made for his Fallout 4 image series to make a mod based on them to replace them from your Pip-Boy stuff. So now your
I
which is
remember that
labeled
image
as
series.
Vault Meat. Vault Meat will be your new Pip-Boy icons, which is a very lewdy girl.
okay, now
Lewdy
I'm
girl.
interested because I just looked at the last paragraph and it says, for those who want some extra junk down there, Futanari versions of the mods are available as well, staying true to the philosophies of Shadman. Big C Man 123 has announced being open to making patches similar to this one and is currently willing to expand the project if others are interested in working with him. For now, we will be keeping a closer eye on the modding scene and will promptly let you know if any new juicy material is released that could potentially appeal to your corrupt taste.
Yeah.
So
The
in other
mod
words-
will be working for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah,
And I assume there will be a Fallout 4 version as well. Simply because,
I hope so.
you know, it's just gonna end up being.
This is what I live for.
That's kind of cool. I remember seeing the Vault Meat series, and they had drawn the Pip-Boy icon. I think he had drawn the Pip-Boy icons already. So actually having them work in game, that's a really clever thing to do. That's a really clever mod.
Yep. That, and not only did they make like those lewd versions, but they also made like a dick girl version, which I kind of appreciate.
We can all.
Now
of
we
both worlds,
get to
people.
the interesting part.
Yep. So, anyway,
His act.
next one. Ultra Strip Fighter 4. Omnicom Edition.
I think this looks pretty bad. I'll be real with you. These sprites look really bad.
Well, yeah, I've heard people try to play Street Fighter, and it's really painful to play through.
Yeah, it doesn't really look that great, to tell you the truth.
These sprites
Yeah.
look awful.
Are they
my
sprites
God,
or
yeah.
are they 3D?
It's awful. Oh my god.
No, you're right. They are sprites.
Yeah, and you know what? They're horribly aliased. Like, Jesus Christ. Have you ever heard of anti-aliasing?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. They're terribly aliased.
Yeah.
It's like they made 3D models and then they just shrink it down to a really really weird like proportion, and then they just didn't put any smoothing or anti-aliasing on it.
That's
I
why I
guess
wondered if they were 3D because the outlines look like it's unaliased cell shading,
Yep.
or rather
No, it's not.
anti-aliased cell shading.
I don't
yeah,
think it's 3D.
yeah, they're very big, ugly sprites.
So, because I forgot to put these in the Titan pad, here's the next one. Alpha release of Triple X Tycoon.
Oh
You too
my.
can be your own Triple X game porno manager.
That is needed.
The aesthetic is really interesting too. It
Mhm.
looks like those old like Commodore 64 era games, kind of.
Seems like
Yes.
something that we needed in this
Did
world.
we really need it?
Yes.
Oh god, there's a video. Making Triple X Tycoon Part 10.
I would actually play this.
I wouldn't.
Why?
And it's funny. I think QQ might like it simply because it's management.
It's a management sim, yeah. Although I might just wait for Honeypot Studios
I
Cam
don't
Girl
like.
game instead.
Oh, I don't. The Honeypot Studios game. I'm not a fan of the artwork of it.
But
It's
that one
very-
is done specifically to make fun of the
Kim Kardashian Hollywood type
Yeah.
of game. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds funny.
it's for
Ha.
next game for the extremely overpopular Monster Museum. Now there's gonna be a game, and yes, it's a porn game. So you too can finally be lewd with your monster girl waifu.
Oh.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Well then.
Let's see, what's this called? Museme no Iru Nishijo.
You need to link it to me.
I put
It's
it
in
in
the
chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
No Iru Nichijo takes place in a world where the existence of monsters have been revealed to the public after
Oh, is this
long
based
years
off of that
secrecy.
anime?
Yes, that's what I just said.
The anime I've never watched ever, but everyone else watched and. Oh, I like the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is actually good.
artwork's really good.
Yeah, I like it. It's very cute.
Oh yes. Very good.
It's
I like the meta tags right here.
I'm not a fan of the anime because I'm not a fan of the way the anime looks.
This one particular sentence. Another feature that stands out is the petting/rubbing mechanic, which might turn out to be a way to bond with your monster girl companions.
Oh boy.
So it's like that one feature of Pokemon, but
Like, yeah, like
Lewd.
Pokemon X, you
But
can pet the Pokemon.
Like lewd.
Oh no.
Oh my.
Ooh.
I like the Fox Girl.
Get that nice screen rub in action.
It'd be the
Yeah,
same
that
without a
Fox Girl
stylus,
has a
though.
nice outfit, I have to say. I like the leggings of the Fox Girl. It's pretty nice, pretty like fancy.
Yeah, the Fox Girl
Yeah.
is cute.
They look like they'd be extremely difficult to wear, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you get runs of them just trying to put them on.
I have a question
I
though.
find it interesting that they have pretty much almost every kind of type of monster girl. I mean, they even have
I
a
have a question though. Is there going to be a secret code that turns all of them into dick girls?
I think you might be out of
probably
luck
not.
there.
Oh boy.
Because if they had that, I would be sold.
Probably not. I'm sorry.
Ooh, they have a X15. I'm sorry, I'm just reading this thing. Everyone else is talking about dick girls. I'm looking about a 40-year-old aircraft. Priorities.
Yep. Anyway, Monster Girl porn game tied in with Monster Girl anime.
Oh, there's more screenshots on the official site than what was in the article.
Yep.
Only a few more though.
Seems
They have the Naga girl.
Doubt we'll ever get a official, English release. We're just gonna have to settle for a fan patch, if ever.
Yeah. If you're watching this, right, you need to make a Dick Girl mod for this. Post haste.
So
Or just make a trap monster game.
I figured the Nets article I had to just grab simply because last week we talked about that twerking butt.
Oh God.
I missed
This
this
one-
one.
What are you
because-
doing? Why do you do this to us?
Okay, I decided that I have to grab this simply because it was another robot sex toy thing, and okay. Apparently, has anyone paid attention to Twitter at all over the past week?
Not
Nope.
much.
Nope.
Then you haven't noticed the outrage over.
I know about this.
I have noticed about the outrage
I
because
can
we've actually
provide-
talked about it in the last open house discussion for Not Your Shield.
I can provide
And it is, and people are calling for the ban of these sex toys because apparently it's misogynist. Never mind the fact that you can actually configure it to your liking, like give it breasts, give it a penis instead of a vagina, all that
Never
good, all
mind
that
the
fun
fact
stuff,
that
right?
they
can get-
are inanimate objects.
Yep. And you know what,
get
right?
a male version?
Masturbatory aids.
Yeah. And you know what, right? This actually, I think, is a very, very good invention because now, right, people don't have to like, like how people get extremely lonely and go up and do things because they're extremely like, how do you call this, sexually frustrated, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think that this will give them like a pretty satisfactory
Like
simulacra, so they can keep their proclivities to themselves and keep it under control.
It's a dumb reason to be outraged about something. They should have been.
It's new Puritanism, plain and simple.
Yes.
Hey,
And they
let's not forget
complain
something.
that
The most important
it'll turn
part-
women into objects. First of all, why would a person go out of their way to get a sex toy shaped like a woman if they hated women?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's not also forget the fact that there's also a male version of the sex toy.
Yes.
And because you can
The most
configure
pop-
it, you can have a futanari version as well, as on top of, let's say, a cunt boy version also.
Yes.
The possibilities are endless.
Yes.
And
It-
everyone
it's
always
not gonna
seems to
change
be
anything.
angry at the fact that you can. That one of the models is basically it's a woman. One of the options is woman. Therefore, everyone's angry.
Everyone's happy. Even Sarah Nyberg.
No.
Oh
keep,
God.
Keep Nyberg
Oh,
away
God.
from this.
Let's not like even entertain the possibility of. Actually, you know what? That would actually be a good thing because if they actually made like a kid version of this toy, right? That would mean that pedophiles would have an outlet to, let out their sexual desires without
Oh,
actually
boy.
harming kids.
I honestly,
I honestly think
first,
governments will never allow a child-like sex toy. No
I
matter
they-
what,
think that
I
is
know.
not.
And I know that
would
I know that they're not going to be allowed, but I do think that it is something that can actually, help the situation in a way that it kind of gives pedophiles a way to express their sexuality without actually harming a kid.
They have some very interesting box art for what do they call them? Pocket pussies. There's another name for them in Japan already.
Yeah.
So
They got lolly characters, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, like, let me ask you a question, right? Would you rather a pedophile stick its dick into a sex toy or an actual kid?
That's sex toy, obviously.
Yes, yes.
It's kind of
Yeah,
messed
no,
up, but you know what? As long as they're not harming anyone, it's a good thing. Like, yeah.
This is not a conversation I was expecting to have tonight, but I can't find a flaw in your logic.
Oh boy.
We actually talked about this in the open house, and that's why I'm able to bring this up. But seriously, though, it is actually a good thing that this thing is being invented, and I don't know why people are having a big deal, a big cow about it.
Because
Well,
America
that's the
really,
funny
really is angry at any single time there's a sexual toy made for a man.
But if your big thing is changing how gender roles interact in society, right? How genders interact with society because of gender roles and all of that. This is the type of thing that allows people to express their gender publicly differently, because So why? What's the big deal? Their gender and their sexuality can be expressed differently in public and in private because they can experiment on this type of thing. This sounds like a good thing. Well, why is anyone complaining about it?
It sounds like a good thing.
As one YouTuber put it as bluntly as possible in her video, Shoe on Head, this will make men take a look at me, keep their eyes off me, and they might be prettier than me. I don't like this. This is misogynist.
Oh God.
I need to go buy a 12-inch dildo now.
I love Shoe on Head. She is really funny.
The name sounds funny too.
Yeah. It actually kind of perfectly encapsulates her personality.
Well, wasn't Shoe on Head a reference to an old image board meme where they'd say take a picture of yourself with a shoe on your head or something?
I wouldn't know.
It's also a reference to a 4chan pedo hunt.
Okay.
Pretty much the little story goes that they pretended to be a teenager and they had the pedophile take pictures of himself with a shoe on his head. They proved it was him.
What are we talking about? What the
I
hell
just
are we
took a look
talking
at the
about
sex
right now?
toy.
I tuned out at the wrong time, God damn it.
Alright, I just took a look at the sex doll, and I don't see what they're talking about because they look extremely fake. Like, the proportions are all off.
They also look incredibly surprised. What are they surprised about?
Yeah, they're just...
Why are they so amazed?
I know I'm ugly. I'm not that ugly.
They have to keep that suspension of disbelief there because so people don't get don't I go see how big I am? Forget.
Oh dear.
So, moving on.
Well, that's it for Lou Gamer, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, how's
Let's
the
talk about
weather?
furry stuff. Yeah, before you start, I would like to direct your attention to one particular game that I just came across, and it is actually quite fitting since Halloween is coming, like the month of Halloween is coming near, and this is actually kind of fitting. It's basically a furry game.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's basically a top-down co-op shooter where you play as animals with guns.
There's zombie apocalypse.
I like this. I like this topic.
It actually looks very humorous.
Yeah, its art aesthetic reminds me a bit of what was that? Rampage.
Yeah. Rampage Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Only
Oh,
3D
boy.
instead of 2D.
Yeah.
This looks
Elephants with a chain gun.
Yep.
elephants with a elephants?
The zombies look so funny.
I wonder, should we all pick this up and do a co-op stream?
That would be funny.
Oh, maybe. It was funny.
Yeah, I have it on my wish list. So if you really want to co-op this, right, I can just like add it to my cart and done. We can start playing immediately.
Yeah. This is a perfect game for us to. So, dude, this looks fun though.
Mhm.
Really
It
fun.
does look fun.
Oh hey, gorilla with dual wield Uzis.
I like how the elephant can charge.
Mhm. And the duck makes a tornado.
Dog or the duck?
Oh, they have
Oh.
unique abilities for each character.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
I wonder if the gorilla has like a banana storm.
All right, guys. All right. I know we're getting off a topic, and I don't know how many more minutes we have here.
We are
We
sitting
need to
at
get.
past 12.
We're gonna go straight to furry stuff.
Well, wasn't this first stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, obviously, but we're going straight to Kota, what have you linked this time? Oh boy.
Basically, for Affinity, IMVU drama for Affinity forums are down and moved to become the Phoenix forums.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Lots of mess.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure if I want to touch it.
MVU doing a cease and desist order on the forums for them leaving.
Why did the forums leave in the first place?
Because they were under different ownership, and then IMVU bought Fur Affinity itself, and the forums were left hanging. I mean,
Wait, IMVU bought Fur Affinity?
yes.
Yeah. This was months ago.
I am behind the times. Holy shit.
If you've noticed the new, much more intrusive ad banners that have appeared that didn't used to exist on Fur Affinity, that's why.
Well,
Are
that
you
makes sense.
kidding
I don't
me?
use Fur Affinity.
Are you kidding me?
You know what's the most confusing thing about this is that of all the sites that could have bought up for Affinity, right? I just don't get why it is IMVU. Like IMVU, not many furries actually use IMVU.
I would expect
If
like
anything, right?
Second Life company.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, right, it should have been Linden Labs that bought for Affinity instead of IMVU.
Yeah.
Because pretty much almost every furry, right, use Second Life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not fucking IMVU. Like, what the fuck is IMVU anyways?
IMVU is like an old version of Second Life. Just think of it like that.
Except all the characters are on rails.
Yeah, that too.
What
But
you
I
expect
remember
from a
IMVU.
site ran by a crazy person?
It's been around forever, hasn't it? I can't remember when it wasn't around.
What, Fur Affinity?
No, IMVU.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, what you expect from a site run by a crazy person?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. They mainly left also Fur Affinity because of the new Dragoneer drama by
Oh,
him
boy.
banning mods and admins that were on the forums because they were quitting.
Oh boy.
And then they did the whole, dump of all of his past botchings.
What
and
the heck
everything.
is Husky talking about? I hope they're joking. I hope this has nothing in relation to do with what we're talking about currently. We're not talking about diaper pics.
I think it has to do with an ad banner for Affinity.
Oh God, are you serious?
Probably. I'm gonna have to take a look.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
boy.
Oh God.
Anyway, this
Why-
sounds like
why-
I've barely
Fur-
been on that website, and I have to post things on there because apparently there are a lot of people who really do use FA on a regular basis. So I want to abandon the site so much, but
I have. It's hard, but you can actually do it.
I could go straight to Weasel. What is the Weasel's community? Oh, last time I checked, Weasel's community doesn't seem to like me or anything. I can only
Because,
get anybody
Because there was a period where
Sponsors.
Weasel was in great danger of being taken over by SJWs.
Yes. I find it so weird how, like, there's all these sites that compete with FA, right? There's So Furry, there's Ink Bunny, there's Weasel, and they all are like, look at this, we're so much better than FA. We've added all these features that FA it doesn't have. We fixed all these problems that FA has had for years and that they refuse to fix. By any possible measure, we're a better site. But there's just those few artists who are sticking to their guns that
Yeah.
are making it so that FA remains the most popular one.
Yeah.
It is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Because the reason why nobody goes to those sites is because nobody uses them. But the reason why nobody uses them because nobody actually has the stones or the balls to like take their pack up and move on to the other sites and stay
Or
there.
they're too lazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And I'm going to say this, even though it's going to piss people off, right? But a lot of the furry artists stay in FA because they are not good enough to survive outside of it.
it's
That
kind of
is actually
little
true
clicks.
because if they're actually that good, right, if they're actually that good enough, right, then they're leaving FA, right, would actually have very little impact on their income because they're able to easily find work outside of the FA sphere and find clients outside there. And that's actually something that I've actually been doing for a long time. Ever since I left FA, right, it's been difficult, but I've been finding work on my own without the need of FA.
That is actually kind of true because there's a lot of artists, that I ended up following currently and look at art are mostly posting their art on Tumblr, and that's where I end up seeing their art on. So that's funny.
So yes, if an artist decides to stay on FA, right, it means two things. Either they're too lazy to move out of FA, right, to better pastures, or their art isn't actually good enough and they know it.
Yeah. They don't want to rebuild on other sites. I might start posting more on Weasel because all my characters aren't underage.
Yeah, you should.
I don't have a single character that's underage.
Yeah. No. By the way, I fucking love that squirrel character that you drew, even though it's the wrong character.
I ended up
drawing. Capture her personality.
Yeah.
Speaking I don't see anything about this diaper.
Did my image update or?
Actually, come to think of it, I do think that your art is kind of actually good enough to make a eroge out of.
A what?
Eroge.
What is that?
Game.
Erotic game.
Oh, an arrow game.
Eroge, yeah.
I think about it. I guess I'm in this. Okay, it's personal time with grad. No, but I'm in this position currently with my art where I'm having a lot of trouble creatively working with it, like working with it to build stories and stuff out of it. I'm in this position that's become a problem. I'm trying to figure out if I'll just probably spend the day if I can just focus on trying to do something creative. But I guess it sort of comes from the fact that a lot of my older ideas I've kept discarding over time, and it's really kind of probably messed me up a little bit. Admittedly, it probably did mess me up a little bit, but it's something I'm working on. It's something I just need to spend some time on.
It is kind of a curse of the artist that they're always they're never satisfied with their own work, so they always try to find new ideas to replace it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, they ended up spending their entire life just replacing old ideas with new ideas and never actually making anything out of it.
Well, here's another issue that I have to run into. This is another issue, and this is part of my transition. I've never made erotic stories before. Not. I mean, I've made some before, but I never like pushed further than maybe writing 1, 2 chapters. I think in my entire lifetime, I only wrote 3 or 4, 4 different erotic story types. I never exactly explored my work creatively, erotically. I can draw it, and mostly because I'm not putting a story to it or anything like that. But I've never like gone the extra mile for it or something like that. Because it's something I used to.
Yeah, but here's what you do: you find an idea and stick with it. Try to develop it, and don't replace anything on it. Just try to develop it and tweak it and evolve it around. Right? Just find this one idea that you can stick to, and then and after that, right? If it's erotic in nature, right? You can just write short stories regarding that idea and concept, and you can just post it on sites like SoFurry.
I don't have a SoFurry.
From it.
I don't have a SoFurry.
You don't?
No, I don't. I've never posted anything on SoFurry.
That's like, so every site has their focus. SoFurry's is stories.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. I'm probably gonna do it tomorrow. I'm probably gonna decide to just spend a whole day focusing entirely on trying to build something creatively out of it. Because I've thought about making like a visual novel or something like that.
Well, you should also balance have doing things that you owe people.
Yeah. I still I'm already. That's the main thing I've been doing currently. I've already been working on commissions because I just got done with your friend. I'm done with their commission. I just haven't colored it yet. By the way, Kota.
Oh, my friend.
No, Kota's friend.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm done. I'm completely done with their commission. I've already inked it. I just haven't colored it yet. That's it. This has been.
I would like
to see it.
But what am I about to say? What is it? Let's go on to the furry game conversation. This is going to be a long podcast because I was speaking very slowly. But furry game conversation is going to be fun. This one's going to be fun. It's not exactly about furry game as it is about the furry fandom's relationship to that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike all the previous.
I originally thought we were going to talk about the games, but I was like, people already talk about the games to ad hominem, and we are not talking about the games. We're talking about the fandom. We're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh boy,
Sonic.
You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna need to be well fed for this.
I'm gonna need to be well fed for this. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest. So I'm gonna start things off by just asking one of you. The first one I'm gonna ask, the first name that comes up in my QuQu. What is your experience with the furry fandom and their relationship with Sonic the Hedgehog, or at least Sonic fandom? Okay, fuck it. What is your experience with the Sonic fandom?
I actually haven't existed much at the intersection of furriness and Sonic. What was your second question?
We'll try not to be too inflammatory about opinions here, so let's just try to be a little bit more intellectual about it.
Just remember, if you're too autistic, we'll punish you.
All right.
So, honestly, I actually got into learning about Sonic quite late. The first one I played was a Windows port of Sonic CD, and then the second one I played was Sonic Adventure 2. So I kind of got like this random sampling of Sonic stuff, and I didn't really think of it much beyond that. It was weird because while I was on furry communities for a long time, I never actually ran into like that intersection of Sonic stuff and furry stuff. I kind of
you were the lucky one. No.
Yeah, I would play Sonic games and I would go on furry sites, but never the two would meet. So
Never
Wow.
the two shall meet. Okay. So, because I like talking about fandoms and stuff like that, and I think the Sonic fandom is probably one of the most infamous fandoms, and Brony fandom is beat. It's a
This
lot
is just
better
muting
light.
going.
Hmm?
For some reason, you like muting on and off.
You cut out for a bit. Oh,
Oh,
I will
crap.
say one thing. I did once go on DeviantArt and search my name, the Hedgehog, to see what would pop up. Because
Exactly.
QQ the
apparently,
Hedgehog.
not QQ the Hedgehog, my actual name. Because apparently every single name that has ever been given already has a fan character of it. That is just about the extent of my experience, though.
A lot of people, from what I know, this one I know. I have two sections of friends because when I was younger, I was a really, really die-hard, crazy, psychotic
Sonic fan.
I was probably the worst.
Did you ever
I
Sonic
was
DJs?
probably I was more
Did
than
you-
likely the worst. I was possibly probably unbearable as a kid. But what is it? The one thing I know is that I have two sets of people that I interact with because I still kind of interact with the Sonic fandom, obviously, because I draw Sonic fan art when I feel like it, and I do talk about music and stuff and all that or something like that. But there's two people. There are people who really who are more like they. It's not that they really like Sonic. They're more like Sonic is redeemable in areas. It's not as bad as you think it is, or something like that. There's those people. Then there's those people who, like, I have a friend who was part of a Sonic. I don't want to talk about that here. Okay, well, I have a friend who was part of the fandom and worked on websites on the fandom, and he wants nothing to do with that fandom. And I have plenty of friends who are like that. It's not just him. I have plenty of friends who go like, I have had a bad experience with the fandom. I used to be there, but now I'm not there anymore.
Did he used to mod the
And
forum for that
always shocked me.
Ruby
'Cause
Rose
like,
comic?
that has always shocked me because it's like, well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but you know, I guess I didn't have it as bad as experiences as they had with dealing with the fandom. You know, Sonic resonates with autistic children. That character resonates a lot with autistic children. They're the only ones that can appreciate him the most.
I'm
Gotta
just
go
sitting
for
here. I have a lot of experience with the Sonic fandom myself, like a lot,
Oh boy.
and I don't want to. I mean, I want to let you finish first because it's almost embarrassing to the point where.
I wouldn't. I make it a rule. I make it a rule not to reveal
Not the
embarrassing
fandom
shit
shame.
on podcasts. Seriously, it's not what this is here for. This is not a group discussion thing. People listen to this. They want to hear crap. No.
I don't know. I think maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to hear your crap.
Okay. Here's my contribution to this discussion. I think it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be where it was like there was a point where I didn't even indulge in it for a few years because I was like, oh man, I was slowly trying to grow out of it and stuff, and it was unbearable at the time. But now it's at this point where there's a lot worse. There's a lot worser people, and I'm at the mentality that when you deal with fandoms are always like fanatical. Every fandom has a dark side to it. Every
fandom has their Sonic Chew.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Every fandom has a Sonic Chew.
Uh,
I think that's what it was. I think the existence of Sonic Chew had a weird sort of like culture shock on people.
You think?
I think it had like a weird, like, it was like, this has gone too far. This has gone too far. Fandoms have gone too far, and it really, like, ripped people out of it for a while.
Sonic was a mistake.
So, now it's just like more so like it's become like one of those dead horses. It's like a weird punchline because it's not like Sega isn't like, well, now they're doing poorly, but they're doing poorly in a different direction. Like back then they were doing poorly in a awkward direction where they were trying to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. And then they had a period where most of all the games were getting good, so people didn't have to hate them anymore, even though people hate them anyway. But
Because
Alright, I am back.
people hate on them anyway. But otherwise, now we're in this weird sort of like franchise zombie period where like Sega's trying this weird decision in this weird direction, and some people like it and some people don't, and there's a lot of in the middle people on this direction, the Sonic Boom direction. Because personally, for me, I like the Sonic Boom direction. I like the fact that the characters have silhouettes now, and they all look like different characters. Knuckles.
Yeah,
is
to
the
be
big
honest,
one.
right, I do think that the aesthetics of Sonic Boom is pretty excellently done.
Yeah.
It is just that the game turned out to be so horrible, and it's such a shame.
Yeah. It's the whole comedy aspect. Yeah, the cartoon, the whole comedy aspect to it is less like, trying to be all like story driven and stuff, and more like a hilarious sitcom. Hey, Eggman came to the house again, and he's doing silly things, wacky cartoon stuff. That's
Eggman.
fine. It's not something I was going. Oh, I hated at first. It wasn't something I hated at first. In fact, I liked the direction, the idea with the trailers. They were talking about, oh, we're writing it smart comedy, and I was like, Sonic the Hedgehog into a sitcom comedy format? Sure, I'll deal with that. At this point, we're at this point where it's like the franchise is kind of still born when it comes to like the serious moments of Sonic, where it's like the games are kind of in this weird direction where they just want to do like they care more about like gameplay. Like the original games, not the Sonic Boom games. But like
Well, you know what
Sonic
Sega should do? They should just make a game based on the Sat AM franchise.
I think what you're saying is that they did Shadow the Hedgehog once, and then they decided never to do that direction again.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, but I'm not saying that Sonic Lost World has its own problem. Like, for the most part, because the narrative in the game is so non-existent, it also means it's kind of a one-trick. It's more like if you buy Sonic Lost World, if you want to just play it for gameplay, you don't buy it for story because the story is not really interesting enough or anything like that.
Isn't
it's more
it
like Mario, but it's Sonic. It's pretty much Super Mario, but it's Sonic. What else? The comics had this weird reboot because of a comic writer who really wanted to keep all his characters so he can make a crappy side story with them or something like that. I don't even know if he's allowed to do that.
God.
I saw that.
Ken motherfucking Penders with his Larsu Chronicles.
No, I call it the Mary Sue Chronicles.
Yeah, have you seen the model render of the main character?
Oh, God,
Yes,
it's
painful to
It's
look
so
at.
creepy.
It's really
so
creepy and uncanny valley-ish and awkward.
Here, I thought you was going with the fact that the comic had done a sort of clean house moment where they pretty much killed off almost every single character.
Yeah, they had a massive reboot, and luckily for them, they were doing a Mega Man crossover, so that kind of helped them out. But the problem now is that without in a way, even though Ken Penders is a shit, he's a douchebag, he's a shit. But even though he is a shit, all his characters were the only things that kept the comics interesting. Like I'm not I don't know how to put it. And they were interesting in Ian Flynn's hands. Like in his hands, his stories range from, "Oh, this is pretty good," to "What the hell are you doing right now? Stop, stop! What are you writing right now? Stop! Where's Sonic? Why are you so busy? Who is this person? This has nothing to do with Sonic. This is like some weird soapbox thing you're pulling here." But when Ian Flynn got on and he had to deal with all these characters, he kind of worked with them better. And that was when the comic was great. That was when it was like wonderful. He had an entire miniseries entirely based around Scourge, and that was pretty awesome. But now that all is gone, I guess he's forced to make new characters. Not that that's bad. I mean, I guess it was something that was he was working with someone else's characters anyway. So these are his characters now, and Sega's characters. But right now, the problem isn't Ian Flynn, really. It's not really Ian Flynn. It's Sega's fault right now. Sega's problem is that they're very this is it's a weird double-edged sword. It's sort of like back in the day they were too lax, and because they were so lax, Ken Penders was allowed to inject his entire story of his original The Echidna story into the comic. So now Sega's too they got too much of a tight grip. And if there's one thing we've all learned about Sega and how they handle Sonic is that they don't know what the hell they're doing. So they got these mandates. They're like, Sonic can't have a girlfriend. He can't fall in love at all whatsoever. I don't think any of the major Sonic characters can't have parents, sans Cream, who has an official parent in the games. So they can't talk about whether or not Sonic has parents in the comics. They've already. The funny thing is, have you read the article? And I like this bring this up because I actually want to talk about this because of this article. Sonic Stadium did a article about all the myths of Sonic, and I'm going to read them because this is a good topic to run through because then we can bring it up. Give me a second because this is going to be fun. This is going to be both fun and disappointing. Sonic Stadium has made an article detailing all the myths in the Sonic franchise that fans don't know about. Things you never knew about the Sonic franchise, but fans have perpetuated to this day.
Like Tails is supposed to be the original.
Wait. I'm going to find the article because I don't want you to blow this all right here.
Yeah, it's only going to be one.
Give me a second. Let me find it.
Yeah, Kota, don't blow your load too fast.
Yeah. God.
Oh, yeah.
God, keep it in your pants.
That's okay. I'll just aim it at Gremlin. He likes it anyway.
Don't splay it all in front of the chat for everyone to see. Gosh.
But that's what they came here for, wasn't it?
Yes. That's what they came here. They came here for Kota to blow his load. That sounds awful.
Might be more correct than you think.
Oh boy. Oh man. This is fantastic. Okay.
Kota is best fanboy.
Yes, he is. I just realized that I have it in my Ink Bunny, so I was searching for it. I've completely I completely extended the time of this podcast. I am so sorry for everyone involved, unless they just wanted to be here. I know y'all didn't want to be here. I know. You could have told me earlier. Okay, here it is. It's 10-ish Sonic the Hedgehog facts that aren't even true. I'm gonna go down the list because this is a perfect discussion topic. Because it's gonna bring up exactly why Sega is a weird company. Mighty the Armadillo predates Sonic 1. Let's get this out of the way now. Mighty the Armadillo has only existed since Sega Sonic Arcade. In 1993. So how did Mighty get associated with the very fabric of the franchise mascot process? This one actually has a grain of truth to it. During the development process of a character to be made to rival Mario, the rolling physics became a big focus point of consideration. Eventually, because of this, the ideas were whittled down to an armadillo and a hedgehog, both known for their ability to curl up into a ball. Over the years, however, this has been distorted to a bit to where people claim that the armadillo was Mighty himself. Hence, he was an integral part of Sonic's history. Not so. Here's an interview with Sega. Because we knew the game would move quickly, we initially chose a rabbit for the character and then experimented with further ideas, an armadillo and a hedgehog. Oshima-san's hedgehog illustration was very stylish and best represented the speedy qualities we were looking for. So that is what we decided upon. Riddle me this. If Mighty had existed at this point, wouldn't it look pretty much alike to Sonic? Oh, and they got a picture. I have a picture of what the armadillo looks like. And it looks nothing like Sonic.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mighty.
I would like to mention this, that wouldn't it be awkward if Sega were to release a rabbit mascot as their protagonist instead of a hedgehog? Because you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to collide with the whole Jackrabbit franchise.
Yeah, it would. But unfortunately,
and considering that Jackrabbit is pretty much Sonic with guns,
Jazz the Jackrabbit wasn't made until after Sonic, so that's that little nugget. But the rabbit became Ristar. Yeah, Ristar, the game about the star, used to be called Phil the rabbit.
And
yes, Phil the rabbit.
Feel the rabbit, Grim.
Feel the rabbit.
Feel the rabbit.
yeah, that's in Theodore.
Okay, I'm gonna skip some of these. One of them says one of the facts is that the creator of Mighty and Ray took the rights to them with him when he left the company. This isn't true. I don't need to read it all, but it isn't true. Sega still owns the rights to Mighty and Ray. They just haven't used them at all yet. That's pretty much it. Oh, remember Nazu the Hedgehog from Sonic X? The fan-made character based off of a weird steal from the opening of Sonic X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Supersonic.
Huh.
So,
I remember the talk of Nazu way back, like in the early days of the internet.
But I'm skipping it all because I'm going to get to the most important thing in this article. The most important thing that blew my mind. All right.
Which was?
I'm going to reveal it all to the world. I've already revealed it anyway, so this is funny.
Stop showing off, Gremlin.
Super Knuckles doesn't exist.
What?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Hyper Knuckles will never exist.
No, but let me explain. The Super Emeralds were not part of the story. They exist in the game because Sega, if you remember correctly, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are two halves of one game. And at the time, Sonic and 3 and Sonic and Knuckles were going to be one game. One 14-level game. And here's the interesting thing about that. It was too big for one cartridge. So they bullshit together this thing called lock-on technology. They pretty much made DLC. Let's be real, all right. Sega created DLC.
I know.
You know what's funny about this particular kind of DLC is that it is actually compatible with older games.
Yeah.
Okay, Grim, this is an expansion pack.
Oh yes. But connecting Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles makes the full game. It is not something special or new. You're just getting the rest of the game. Sonic and Knuckles is the ending of Sonic 3. It's just the other half of Sonic 3. When you put them together, you get Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles as one whole game. So you go from Angel Island all the way to Doomsday Zone, and you get the full game. So that's a pretty big game.
Which is my favorite way of playing it.
So Sega thought, because there's only 7 Chaos Emeralds, you might be able to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds before the game ends. Which would make you pretty overpowered in the latter of the game. So they decided that they wanted to extend replayability a little bit. So they created the Super Emeralds as a way, as a fun little Easter egg thing hunt you could do, where you can be like, whoa, there's more to this game? There's more secrets in this game? Hypersonic is a glorified Easter egg. It has no story relevance whatsoever to the Sonic franchise. The Super Emeralds are not a thing. Super Tails, Hypersonic, and Super Knuckles are not a thing. In Sonic Heroes, you do not play as Super Tails or Super Knuckles. Sonic essentially extends his ability to use Supersonic by lending some of his aura to them. That's literally all he does. They do not change a form. They are literally using reserved power Supersonic lend to them. Glorified shields, so to speak. Fire shields. It's not a super state. Sega has established that it is canon that the only characters who can go super are male hedgehogs.
And now we wait for the day of Super Silver.
Knuckles cannot use the Master Emerald for anything other than sensing it.
So why do they even keep it if it's useless to them?
It's only useful to Knuckles to keep his island afloat. That's really it. There's no... there really is no purpose for it, other than to keep Knuckles afloat, and it just turns Sonic into even a greater Mary Sue than he already was.
It just becomes
what is the canon justification of making only male hedgehogs super?
Nothing. There isn't an explanation for it.
And I love how they specify male.
Yep. I love that too. They literally said it. Only male
hedgehog privilege.
Male hedgehog privilege. Only male hedgehogs can go super. No other character can. Knuckles has a Master Emerald, but he can't really tap into its power. Everything Ken Penders wrote is one just big ass head cannon. He should have expanded on Sonic like Sega told him to do. He was so busy trying to turn Knuckles into like Wolverine that he didn't know that none of that mattered. It's just one big flat head cannon.
I tried so hard, I got so
That's probably why Knuckles started to get less time later in the comics, and why when Sega started to get their grip closer to the Sonic comics, they wanted to make everything their base reality. Amy cannot get over Sonic. That is a known fact.
So what you're saying is male hedgehogs also have this irresistible pheromone that permanently makes female hedgehogs always attracted to them.
Essentially, the characters can't develop.
Yeah, I know.
You might as well just write blanket term all of what Sega had mandated. They mandated that even though this is a comic where they are having to do comics every month and develop a story, the characters themselves can't develop past their base interactions, their base ideals, which is absurd. Which is absurd. You know, I think it's really absurd that it comes down to Sega's whole obsession with trying to beat Mario or be the rival to Mario in some fashion. But the difference between Sonic and Mario is Mario doesn't talk. And because Mario doesn't talk, he doesn't need character development. He's a mute character, so when you play Mario, you are literally just playing yourself. You are Mario, and you're doing the things that Mario does and stuff. The difference is Sonic has a personality, so it's annoying if he's not developing or he's not being a character outside of I'm cool, I'm rad, I got a tood.
I never got over the 90s.
My motivation is that I beat Robotnik every day, but there's no real reason other than I am the main character and the hero. I am an extremely dry character. I have no flaws.
Did I forget to buy milk?
Did I forget to buy milk? But otherwise, the comics were supposed to be a haven for that, you know, because in the games, you know, Sonic is a video game character. That's what he does. And in the comics, you're supposed to be like, oh, what is Sonic's story beyond the comics? What's his family like? What does he live? Does he love? Does he hurt? Does he feel? No, they want it to be. They're basically. It feels like they're turning the comics into a glorified advertisement for the games, and
it's not gonna work because really, for advertising to work, there really has to be something of substance to be advertised. And seeing Sega's track record of Sonic video games, they're pretty much advertising for garbage, and they're dragging the comic franchise down with them.
Which is probably a good reason why they have other characters in the comics, why they have the original characters that appear in the comic. Because that gives Ian Flynn and crew a way to make stories out of the series. But
you know, a funny story about Ian Flynn is that I remember reading one of his fanfics, like his one and only fanfic before he became a comic writer, and guess what it is?
What?
It is a Sonic/Teletubby crossover.
What?
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh
I'm
god.
not kidding.
That's nightmare.
I'm gonna have to look up that later. That's hilarious. I do remember them saying that Ian Flynn used to be a big like Sonic fan. He used to write Sonic comics and stuff. He had like you know who else is who else has a webcomic? One of the artists, Evan Stanley, works on a Sonic comic called Ghost of the Past or something like that. God, I gotta find the name of it. But it's a really good comic. It's really good art. Really good art.
Ghost of the Past. It's on Middle Ground Comics.
Oh,
it's called Steven art.
Yeah,
link us to it.
It's a really pretty comic. You should look it up. She still works on it. She has done art for the recent comics and stuff and all that.
Link, please.
Yes.
I am 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Grim, go ahead and you copy and link it to the chat because I can't do links.
Okay, but yeah, which is why I was excited to find out that she was an artist on the Sonic comic because she's too damn good. She's too damn good not to be ignored. I need to send you the page. The artwork to it is phantasmaglorious.
I got up and
she's done art for the Sonic Boom comic as well. I do believe she's done that. Tracy Yardley got his mitts all over Sonic Universe, so I don't think she's done art for there. Who else has also done artwork for the boxer hockey guys currently? The guy who made the hilarious Nipples, the Echidna comics, he's doing artwork for the Sonic comic as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I meant the stream chat, not the hangout chat.
Oh, okay. But yes, QQ, he is the guy who made that hilarious, meme-worthy comic about Sonic is now a artist on the Sonic the comic, and it is glorious. It is glorious. His art, I didn't know he could draw Sonic that good. I like his work. His, Evan Stanley's, and Ben Bates are probably my 3 top faves. Tracy Yardley, I used to hate, but he has grown good, so I can't say I hate Tracy Yardley now. I mean, I would used to say, Tracy Yardley wasn't that good, but now he's grown into such a good artist that can't really say that anymore. But yeah, y'all favorite meme-worthy Sonic comic must have got noticed by Archie, because we have a.
I'm just trying to work out what boardroom conversation happened to make that happen.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing with Nipples the Echidna and Sonic farting out the emeralds in order to punch Eggman in the face? We need to hire that guy. Like,
I'm gonna have to show you his stuff. I'm gonna have to show you stuff later at QQ, because his stuff is really, really good. I love it. I love it. If you've seen Boxer Hockey, right? You've read a little bit of Boxer Hockey and how he draws his expressions and stuff. Just imagine how he does with that and how good his work look in that comic. And it's really good. It's very anime-esque and very funny. He makes very funny expressions in there, like with characters. Like he did the last issue of the Sonic and Mega Man crossover, the current one, and he the way he drew Mega Man's expressions and shit, it was fantastic. It was perfect.
Are you talking about this, Grim?
Yeah.
Is that
It's the enchilada. Yes, this is the artist. The artist is currently working on the Sonic comic. Yes. Yes.
You take my emeralds.
Oh my god.
Yes. This guy hit the big time. Archie saw his comics and they wanted them in there.
I would have paid money to hear that conversation.
Yes. Oh boy, and it's fantastic.
Isn't Tyson Hesse the guy that did the? Isn't Tyson Hesse the guy that did the redesign of Sally Acorn?
No.
Or was it someone else?
That was Tracy Yardley.
Oh.
I think Tracy Yardley was mostly responsible for the redesigns, and then Ben Bates and Tracy Yardley were mostly responsible for the redesigns. But I just love Tyson's artwork in the comic. I really do.
I actually kind of like the redesign of Sally, because it kind of gives her more of a design, like more to look at in terms of design style.
And somehow she's a sexier character.
I don't know about that.
I do believe it.
Well, my interpretation is more. Let me find it, because I remember drawing this as soon as I heard the news, right?
Yeah.
And then let's see, where is it? I want to pull a Duke Nukem if I can't find this.
I need to show y'all Tyson Hesse's lines and stuff. It's perfect.
By the way, did you also see the other page I just linked?
Alright.
His Mega Man looked like all his human art.
Yeah, this is like my interpretation. You can show it to like the stream if you want, but yeah, this is like the first thing I drew after I saw the redesign.
Oh boy.
Muscles everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Mostly.
Oh yeah. Evan Stanley is a woman. My bad. I am so sorry. But no. I gendered her right. I went on and talked about Tyson Hess from
Yeah.
Evan Stanley, and I really do want to like show people Tyson Hess's lines in the Sonic kind real quick. He did the cover. He did one of the covers. Hess Sonic comic. I'm gonna have to Google this shit. You can Google it too. And get a lot of his scenes and stuff.
So
The way he draws like Sonic running and just looking crazy, and how cartoonish he draws the characters is really cool.
So Graham, I just noticed, you didn't ask either me, Fuzztail, or Tim here, what's our relationship with the Sonic fandom?
Oh yes. I didn't I? I don't need to. No, but go.
I know
go
who's
ahead.
your favorite now. I know who's your favorite.
Is there anything I haven't talked about with Sonic? You want to feedback about this in relation to your relationship with Sonic, the fandom?
Well, I came into the Sonic fandom via the Sat AM series, and that's about it. Like my favorite fan art back then, my very favorite fan artist right back then was Eyelet Ripley. She did some pretty good artwork of Sally Acorn back in the day.
I've always been a huge Ben Bates fan. I just like his sort of anime-esque scenes and the brisky look of his artwork. How everything just moves in such incredible speeds. Here we go. I found the Tyson Hess page.
Nipples the enchilada.
I'm gonna show y'all Tyson Hess pages. Just gonna start putting them in the chat and stuff.
And my relationship with the fandom. I've been a fan of the game series since the classic, and I played practically almost all of them. And then when it came to interacting with the fans, I actually got more into the sub-fan bit of the Sonic fandom of the fans of people who make sprite comics of Sonic. That's not my interaction with the fandom, where pretty much I just read a lot of comics made from sprites while I was a kid.
Tyson Hess makes like the greatest expressions.
Like the Mystic Force Stone and one that will never come back. The Psy Guy stuff.
Oh god, Psy Guy. I'm not even going to get into the drama that happened with Psy Guy, but let's just say that he's not someone anyone would want to date ever.
Yeah, I know.
He purged his entire.
You know what's weird is that with both Psy Guy and to some extent Dark Speeds, I've never been like part of their fandoms. I don't think I was ever like entrenched in any content they've made. I do know. I guess my boyfriend was really into sprite comics, and I think Psy Guy made some.
Yes, his first bit was sprite comics.
So, I don't know. I was never into either one of their fandoms, but they were apparently very infamous or popular within the Sonic fandom for making things. All I know about Dark Speeds is that he copied One Piece a lot.
Maybe we should start doing Sonic stuff once again, because it is something that I've kind of missed, despite the fandom at large being big fucking clusterfuck of horrible people that I never want to meet in real life.
I have a goal that I wanted to do at least something Sonic related. And I will.
What? You don't ever want to meet me in real life? Is what you're saying?
Not you, Kota. I'm just talking about like the DeviantArt portion of it.
Oh! I will say this: anyone who hates Sonic Unleashed, read the comics.
Mhm.
The comics, I think the comics have built the best, and this is coming from a person that actually does like Sonic Unleashed, admittedly. So
Well, Sonic Unleashed doesn't seem
I
to be a bad
never
game.
played
It
it.
just doesn't really fit the Sonic, thing. Like, when you
I
think of
like
Sonic, right, you think of momentum, you think of speed, you think of exploring levels at high speeds, right?
I like
And
I liked it. So, but what I'm
uh,
saying is that the comic clearly improved on it.
uh,
It clearly improved on how they set up Sonic Unleashed story. At least they figured a way for it to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I
By
think
the
that
way,
Knuckles would have been a better candidate for a game like that, like, a kind of brawler.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you like
I
And then you
think
Unleashed,
I
can
have you
always
get
checked
keep
out
why
memories.
Werehog
Project?
existed. Hmm?
If you like Unleashed, have you checked out Unleashed Project? It was
Um,
they
I
ported all the
can't.
Sonic.
I have, but my issue right now is that I can't properly run Generations on this computer.
Oh yeah, they actually Generations has some pretty hefty requirements.
Yeah, for some weird reason, it runs. Can I run it? Says that I can run it, but I have massive frame rate issues when I play modern Sonic. When you speed, the game starts to turn into
Oh,
when you
like on Chemical
boost.
Plant Zone, especially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
on Chemical Basketball.
It's the fluid, the water physics.
I don't know. I don't know if I can fix that. I know the game runs, but I don't know if I can fix it so it wouldn't be so choppy. And I wish there was like a mod to fix that, but
Well, what graphics card do you have?
He
I
has a laptop.
have a laptop with
Yeah,
a.
that explains it. I don't think many 3D games would run well on laptop cards,
Well,
especially if it's
I can
big.
run I can run Transform pretty well.
Hmm. I
And I
guess it
actually
depends on
run
the engine.
Transformed Sonic All Star Transform better than I can run Sonic Generations on this computer.
Yeah, Sonic
Hmm.
Generations had issues where the water physics are extremely taxing. So
Uh-huh. Wait, is it
I
an
had the
AMD
same
card in
thing.
your system or
Yeah, it
a
seems like
GeForce?
it's worse on any areas where there's aquatic areas. And
All right.
Sonic
All
Generations
right,
has a lot of
Gremlin,
aquatic
Gremlin.
areas.
Is it like a mobile AMD card, right?
So what? It's
Is
a
your,
it's
is your
a
laptop's graphics a mobile AMD card?
it's a I wouldn't say a one core I-core processor or something. Let me
No,
look it
no,
up.
no, that's the
Let me look it up.
CPU. I'm talking about the GPU.
Oh, the GPU. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Check. I'm gonna have to do some computer things. Some computer things. Check
It's
the health
probably a
profile for the
chipset.
computer.
you're back.
All right. Uh. Here it is. Uh. 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 No.
What
Let me
is it?
s- let me see. God damn it! Where can I look up this?
If you want to do it, you can go to the run and type in DXDiag, and that'll tell you everything about your video card.
DX. Oh, wait. Hit run. I'm gonna have to close. I'm gonna have to close this for a minute. Okay. Hit run. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now put in what? DX what?
Diag.
Diag. It'll ask you if you want to check the internet to see if your drivers are signed. Hit no because it takes forever.
Okay. I'm
And
looking
time
at
is
it
money.
now.
On the display tab, it'll tell you what video card you have.
Oh, on the display tab. My Intel HD graphics family.
Oh, that's it.
Well, that explains it. Yep. Intel HD graphics is pretty much not suited to play video games on. It is pretty much like suited to watch videos, but not play video games. Like, I'm actually surprised that All Stars Racing worked on your system.
Yep, it works. It works on my computer. Kota works on there too.
Yeah, you really need a proper PC, like a box, like a giant big box PC.
Yeah.
And get something like with something that is mid-range for about $300-400.
I don't have the money.
What we need to do is
I don't have the money.
need to turn this podcast into a money-making machine, of course. Everyone.
Well, we can help you make money. All you need to do is to open your Kickstarter and pretend that you're harassed on the internet by misogynists.
I can go get some girls and ask them to.
And then go to the
They're
UN
not going to do what I
saying,
say, though. They never do.
Yeah, Dark Speeds has been working on his own comic, and it looks like Sonic.
Yeah. Actually, Grass, you know what? Just make a page of your comic, right? Just pilot it, right? Put it on a web page and run it for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 months with about 5 to 8 pages. And then you can launch your Kickstarter and say, hey, fund this comic, because if you like this comic, fund it for me, please, because I would like to eat and live and stay alive. Yeah.
God, Dark Speeds is art.
And then you can offer like a sketch art for Patreons and a raffle.
Oh God, he's trying to do.
Or if you want to go crazy, right, you can have a high tier where people can cameo in your comic. Or even have an entire chapter of lewd stuff based on their character and the characters in your comic.
The point is, I need to make a comic.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, Gremlin. Yes.
Very well.
Trust me on this, Gremlin. Stop thinking about it and just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Every single person ever has have continually told me that I should make a comic now. At this point.
And you should.
Yeah. When I asked about why I barely get any feedback, it was because you don't make any comics. I'm like, that's the problem.
Actually, I'm planning on making a webcomic based on this sassy bitch.
Oh boy. Darkspeed's gotten better at his work. I would say that. He still has like awkward proportions with it.
You know what's the funny thing about the sketch is that the style is actually inspired by your work.
Who?
Your work, Gremlin.
Yeah. Oh, who? Who's inspired by my work?
I am.
Oh, thanks. Oh.
Yeah. I drew this and I was like trying to imitate the style that you drew your faces with. And I just went from there.
I usually think my faces are shit. No. But with that said, I guess we're winding down. So.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Once we're winding down, since we're winding now, let's talk about the future of this podcast and, by extension, this channel. Because I do think that this podcast isn't exactly sustainable in the long run, right? We're going to have people who are even more thirsty for our content.
Yes.
And it would be pretty dumb not to deliver that content to satiate their thirst.
We've talked about this in the last podcast anyway.
Yeah, actually, I've been thinking, why don't we just do a Let's Play of a game that has been discussed in the furry section in the past?
Yes. We can
do that.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. Yeah, I think it might be hosted by at least one or two of us, because since we don't live in the same area yet, I don't want to deal with all the bandwidth that I have to get that to work.
Yeah, I know.
So, well, that's something that we'll.
You know what? I mean, I could just like put it on a DVD and mail it to you, and it would upload faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking, right? We can either do solo, like either one of us in the crew can do a let's play that is solo,
Mhm.
or we can have one of us play the game, record footage, and then we can all do commentary on it as the footage is playing.
I like the
That
second
would
one.
solve all the latency issues if we were to do that.
I don't.
Mhm.
Has anyone ever done that before?
I think that's what has been done with psychedelic eyeballs, painkiller let's play. I'm going to have to ask him about the logistics of it later on, if he hasn't blocked me by then. Because it's a funny story that when Gamergate first started, right, he was one of the first people to rail really hard against it,
Oh.
and I eventually got blocked by him because I kind of like argued that like Aaron Gioni was the victim instead of Zoe Quinn. Like I don't agree with the harassment that Zoe Quinn got, but I still believe that Aaron Gioni was the first victim of it, right? And he didn't like that because I also mentioned the whole Psy Guy thing, and that if Aaron was a girl, right, he would have been all up in arms in defending this Aaron guy, right?
Mhm.
And but later he kind of unblocked me, but he still hates Gamergate.
Oh. Well, then
Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
yeah, but
But
still, I still think he's a
I would
good
like to
person.
do something like that, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's my only worry. But that might be a good idea
yeah,
to try to
I,
try and play
I still
footage
think
and
he's a
do
good
commentary.
person, and I think that he knows his way around making videos in the Let's Play variety. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try and ask him later on if I still can talk to him. Being in Gamergate has made things pretty awkward for me.
Yeah.
now,
Well,
I did actually.
so people know that in this podcast, uh, it's not a GamerGate podcast, but there are people who participate in it, and many of us come from different perspectives on it
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
do not assume that the entire podcast is just made up of like gamer
Mm.
gators. Not
Yeah.
that that's bad anyway, because some of these people are pretty cool people.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Not
There are plenty of
everyone's terrible, you
Yeah,
know.
there are plenty of people who I would consider good people, right? Who are both in Gamergate and against Gamergate. And
Mhm.
the thing is that most of the view of the that anti Gamergate is like bad people, right? It just comes from the very loud and obnoxious and insufferable extreme on either side.
Yeah.
Like anti Gamergate hates Gamergate because of the idiots on the extreme side, like being shitheads to everyone, and Gamergate thinks that anti Gamergate is a moral pedo defender because the worst of the anti Gamergate is actually doing that, despite the fact that most of anti Gamergate just wants to move on with their lives and not hear about Gamergate and all this drama.
Yeah. I'm neutral on this whole issue, so I'm
Technically,
right. I'm right.
technically, I'm very much leaning into Gamergate, even though I'm technically neutral.
Um, um, that's my perspective, everybody, so everybody know. But otherwise, with that, things happen, drama happens.
Life happens.
Anyone else
Ah,
got anything else we will contribute before I start to wrap this up?
oh, here's another idea. Streaming. We need to stream to Google. Like one of us.
Hmm.
Yeah, from time to time we need to stream a game. It's kind of like a group activity. Kind of like the it would be like the podcast, right? But with one guy streaming directly to the YouTube feed, while the rest of us comment on it while we watch.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, but it could be like an extra on top of the podcast that we do. It's gonna take a bit of effort to try to get that set up, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, that'll work. I thought
I've
about
even
doing vlogs too, or ask sometimes audience participation type stuff.
Yeah, I even have a capture card for my N64 if you want some retro gaming. Although it tends to, unless I can find a way to deinterlace while streaming, it tends to look horribly
Yeah.
interlaced.
Honestly, I think that even though all games are like fair game for this channel, I do think that we should at least try to focus a little bit on games with anthro characters. You know, like Star Fox, Kung, like what do you call it? That anthropomorphic kind of fighting game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Here,
Brutal
I was about
Paws
to
Fury.
say Kung Fu Panda.
There's a Smash Brothers like game that's
Or we can do other, like you can also do generic stuff like fighting games and stuff which happen to have like a token furry character, and then we can play as that character, like Darkstalkers as Felicia.
What about?
Yeah, well, I want to say that I feel like this is stuff we should talk about off the podcast.
Okay.
But admittedly, so, but yeah, we can talk more about that later. But anybody else got anything else to add, or anything
Oh God,
else they want to
Klonoa,
talk about?
yes. I like Klonoa.
I like Klonoa too.
Next week we'll talk about Klonoa anyway. I planned on it. Next week, the Furry Game Showcase is Klonoa.
Yeah.
Alright.
And how Namco dropped the ball on it.
Oh, actually, I need to mention something. I will not be here next week. I will be at a convention.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
So then I got to do all the whole news thing.
I will still gather the articles for you.
Is it a furry convention?
No.
Oh, good. Then you're safe from AIDS. This will never get old.
Don't have sex with anyone, Kota. No matter how enticing the endeavors may be. Don't catch the AIDS. Winners don't get AIDS.
Yep,
they get herpes.
My gosh, Klonoa is expensive. It's $60 used and $424 new.
Oh,
yeah, most PS1 games are like that.
Now, are you also looking?
If you think that is bad, right? Just consider this: a new or near mint condition copy of Valkyrie Profile on the PlayStation 1, it can go to at least $660.
Wow.
Good golly.
Mm-hmm.
So next week.
Don't forget. Never mind.
Okay. So next week we will talk about Klonoa, but for now. It's time to wrap it up. And we're not going to do any, you can find us anywhere because you can see the links at the bottom of the description.
Yeah.
All right. I'm cutting that out because I find that kind of like a blah.
Next week, hopefully I'll be able to shield my Patreon.
Yes. Next week, maybe I'll show some more great fan art like I did last week.
And maybe that will help you start your own Patreon as well.
Yeah.
Because you do need to finish it as well.
Yeah. And maybe Chris will be here to to drunkenly ramble more about whatever he rambles.
Yeah, I kind of miss. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I kind of miss him already. He is a good part of the podcast. I really enjoyed having him around.
And Tim, mysterious person that was with us. Yeah. Glad for you to be here and contribute and be Chris's substitute for a while. I should talk to you more on Twitter because I think I just don't. I don't even. I spend most of the time ranting.
Hey, we all do that.
Yeah.
I think that we could leave the stream open to like one or two open house kind of thing, to one or two guest speakers.
Yeah, I thought about doing that. So maybe next week we might add a guest speaker.
Mm-hmm.
We need one. Live enough to step.
We need one bad.
All right. With that, you can close the drawer now. Don't get bleach because it's not gonna work. It's just gonna stick there to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry for putting that thing in your ass.